Made by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on annexing the occupied Palestinian West Bank. The anti-media reports the League's Assistant Secretary General of the occupied Palestinian and Arab lands said Netanyahu's remarks would lead to dangerous repercussions, adding that the international response must be derived from international law. Abu Ali urged the international community to immediately announce its stance on the Israeli remarks. He also demanded the International Criminal Court open an immediate official investigation into what he described as the ongoing settlement crimes in the Palestinian territories. On Saturday, Netanyahu told the Israeli Channel 12 that he would annex Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank if he wins another term in office, a move that had enraged the Arab and international governments. A former officer with the LAPD pleaded guilty Friday to raping a 13-year-old girl. The girl was the daughter of his good friend, a fellow cop. The Free Thought Project reports 52-year-old Kenneth Collard pleaded guilty to 2 counts of a lewd act upon a child in the April 4, 2018 attack, during which he was still employed as a police officer. He is expected to be sentenced to 5 years behind bars. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Last month, the FDA approved Hallucex, a new class of weight loss drug that helps users avoid overeating by producing nightmarish hallucinations whenever food is around. Hallucex targets the brain's cerebral cortex, stimulating the centers responsible for fear and visual processing. Test subjects reported an unprecedented decrease in appetite and showed dramatic weight loss, with only 18% reporting night terrors or subsequent cardiac arrest.
It's designed to make fatty and sugary foods even scarier. An apple just looks like it has fangs, but a milkshake will threaten you and your family by name.
Earlier incarnations of the drug proved to be too powerful and produced mental states in which test subjects no longer believed that food had ever existed. An unshakable belief that the subject had to eat all of the food on the planet in order to prevent food from rising up and destroying the human race.
No, you don't understand. I have to do this.
Or the conviction that food could be negotiated with diplomatically. With the Lab Report, I'm Aisha Patel.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us here on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to join us there, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. The us tonight includes me, Ian.
And me, Johnson.
All right, so bring up whatever you want. That is what we do here on Free Talk Live. Lots of stuff in the news that we can talk about, including a documentary that is stirring it up, apparently, about Marines, the U.S. Marines. Footage shot by an actual Marine is not showing the Marines in the most favorable of light. So
Semper Fi, brother, Semper Fi.
The still frame that they have here is of a Marine, or what is purported to be a Marine here, that is taking a bong rip off of a Pringles can.
Okay.
Right? So, like, these guys are promoted as though they are heroes, and this is the reality. They're ripping from bongs that are made out of Pringles cans.
That's more heroic than killing little brown children in foreign countries.
Quote, "Stop looking at these kids as heroes," says the veteran who made the documentary. We can tell you more about that coming up here in moments. I agree with you there, Johnson. I would rather see them sitting around getting high and not, killing people.
Risking their careers, to partake in something enjoyable for themselves is more heroic than ruining someone else's or ending someone else's life.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. I think that it's important, though, that people know the truth, right? Like, because they want to believe that the Marines would never do bong rips.
Right.
Well, it turns out that's actually what you get. So we can share that with you. And then, let's see, on the way, we got information about Congress possibly banning the government from offering free online tax filing. And you're going to tell us about that, Johnson. Plus, in other money news, PayPal has new fees. Why should we care? So you've got a story about that.
Right.
Let's start there. I don't know if you've got it handy yet.
It's going to take me just a second,
I'll tell you about this this documentary here. So former Marine, this is from Stars and Stripes. So this is an actual military publication, right? Like, I don't think it's run by the military, but it's like for military people, Stars and Stripes. Story here, former Marine Miles Legos hopes his film Combat Obscura will alter the, quote, sanitized and sanctified view of the military, unquote, that many Americans hold, by showing them his view of what combat is actually like. He told Stars and Stripes during an interview before the film's recent release last month, quote, "It's important because if you worship the military too much, you lose track of why we're actually at war and the underlying issues that are causing it." And, he's right about that. And I don't know what his politics are, but nobody should worship the military, period. Not right. There's no too little, too much, or anything like that. These are just humans who are doing the bidding of politicians. There's really no, to me, there's no glory in that task. There's no wonder. There's no awe in that task. That's just lame. You're doing what you're told by some of the most distrustworthy, dishonorable scum on the face of the planet. Congress and...
Don't you dare speak that way about my commanding officer.
And the president, right? I guess the president would be the commanding officer.
Yeah, well, you just have to think about, that there's that weird structure that's there, and so most of these guys are never actually it's a way of filtering out responsibility, right? So, the culpability only goes up gradually as they go up this chain of command, right? Like, it's almost like the entire chain of command exists to take away any kind of not just responsibility, like directly, like holding someone accountable and holding someone responsible, right? Which it does that pretty effectively, but even taking away a sense of personal responsibility and taking away a sense of personal guilt for feeling for certain actions, right? But I didn't, I was just told to do this by somebody above me. And, the decisions are kind of groupthink decisions. So it just becomes this like weird groupthink mentality that's creating these decisions that are ultimately kind of sociopathic, right? I mean, that these military people do. These orders that come down are not coming from individuals making rational, thought-out decisions. They're coming from groups that have these weird alternative motives, and it's bizarre.
People that are disconnected ultimately from the damage that is being done. They're not the people giving the orders aren't the ones suffering the broken and lost limbs and all that.
Right.
So they don't have the direct consequences, so therefore they don't care. I mean, these are tools. These men and women in the military are essentially they're tools at their disposal. And so it's any wonder why many of them are, drowning their sorrows in alcohol or drugs, trying to escape from the situation they found themselves in. Many of these teenagers, and that's what they almost all are when they're recruited into this.
Military going to pay for my college.
Right, they're getting into it for the college money, or they think they're going to get, the girls, because, there are some women who worship the badge and worship a uniform. So it's for the college, it's for the women. It's certainly not for the job experience. If that's what they think, well, they've been lied to about that. Of course, they've been lied to about a lot of things by their recruiter, and that's what they find out when they finally get in, is that this was not an honest deal.
There's a lot of people that do. I mean, if you wanted to be a mechanic, you might be able to learn to do that.
Maybe if you happen to get assigned there.
Auto or aviation mechanic or
That's
something
the other
like
thing
that.
they'll tell you is the recruiters will tell you,
Right,
we'll get you. Oh, yeah, we'll get you in the auto shop, no problem.
Right.
And then you don't get in the auto shop.
Right.
You're out on mine
I'm
duty.
going to go in to be a chef.
I
want to be a military chef.
So going on here, the documentary is a patchwork of scenes showing Marines smoking marijuana while on patrol in Afghanistan, defecating outside of the homes of locals, swearing at children, and talking lightly of killing innocent people. And that's certainly something the military doesn't want people to see. They definitely don't want you to see the attitude of people in the military. And I'm not saying they all have this, but people who've been in the military will tell you they've met these people. The people who are gleeful at the idea of being able to kill without any legal consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, there's whatever consequence that befalls your soul or spirit or whoever it is you are for taking another human life, and that's its own thing. But there are absolutely people out there who would like to kill and get away with it, and this is a way for them to do it, and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
And so to actually have footage of people reveling in the idea of killing innocents. To be clear, I haven't seen the movie. Okay, this is the Stars and Stripes interviewed the director in this case. Going on here, it says it goes far to challenge the ubiquitous label of hero frequently bestowed on American service members. The cultural insensitivity on display may also give viewers the feeling they're getting an explanation, or at least part of one, as to why America's longest war, now in its 18th year. Can you believe it? It's the longest war in the history of the United States, the war in Afghanistan.
Right. Which isn't even a war because it was never declared.
It wasn't a declared war, sure. But the longest, warlike conflict that the U.S. government has been involved in.
Right.
It's 18 years. I forget who pointed it out. I think it was Chris Reitman last week on the Thursday night show. There are now people who are old enough to join the military who were not alive prior to the beginning of this conflict. Their entire lives, the United States government and the people representing it have been had their lives destroyed by this. Because remember, even though there aren't as many people who die in conflicts now due to healthcare procedures being much better than they used to be,
right?
And those procedures can be administered in the field better and all that. They just then have to live with all the horrible things they've done. And so PTSD and all these just horrific mental conditions, not to mention whatever physical disabilities. There's more coming up here about this footage in this movie, Combat Obscura, 855-450 free. If you want to join us, share your thoughts on the military. Maybe you've been on the inside and you want to comment, 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up what you want. We're talking about at least another perspective on people in the military, specifically the Marines. An actual Marine is the person who shot this footage that has made it into a documentary that he put together called Combat Obscura. It's being reported on in Stars and Stripes, which is like a pretty militaristic kind of website, as showing a bit of reality of what it's like. This isn't the polished the footage you're going to see in the Army or Marines recruiting videos. This is what it's actually like, and that's what's got people so upset. It's kind of shattered. It's iconoclastic, and I love some good iconoclasm, shattering the mythology of what these things are. These careers are really like working for the government, working for the military, which again just makes you the do-boy for the politicians in D.C. And if you like this current set of politicians, okay, well, eventually they're going to be doing things for the set of politicians you don't like.
And we get the inside scoop as to how things have changed since the days of Gomer Pyle, right? Like that was another movie about Marines, right? Wasn't it?
Was that a movie? Was Pyle a movie or a TV character?
No, Gomer Pyle was a character on my brain just
I thought he was a
dropped
TV character.
No, he was
really?
Yeah. Well, he might have. The name might have been making fun of a TV character.
Huh? Wasn't he like the accident-prone?
Like your name's
guy?
now, Private Pyle. And so I think it was making fun of a TV character, but originally
Gomer Pyle was a television character played by Jim Nabors and introduced in the middle of the third season of the Andy Griffith Show.
But also was the name of a character on Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Then they were spinning off.
Yeah, they were spinning off of that when they were making fun of the guy who was playing Gomer Pyle in that movie. And so, the drill sergeant yelling at people and war and all that stuff. But that's during the 60s is when that movie was supposed to be taking
By the way,
place,
rest in peace, Arlie Ermey.
Yeah.
What a loss. What a great actor. So toll-free number if you want to join us here. Maybe you've got some story you want to share about the reality of being in the military. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, liberty.menu if you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. You can use liberty.menu to get the word out about the thing that you do. Maybe it's a business or your event or digital content that you create. You can put yourself on liberty.menu, and it's free to do it, so other people can find out what you do, and maybe you get some new business out of it. Liberty.menu. Use code FTL. You get a special listener badge. Just saw the proprietor of Liberty.menu this afternoon. He came out to our cryptocurrency meetup, and he's coming out to ForkFest. We'll tell you more about that coming up here in a little bit. And he has said he will once again be cooking at ForkFest this year, so that'll be cool. All right, so go ahead.
Vincent D'Onofrio is the name that I was trying to remember.
Of the actor?
Yeah, who played
Gomer Pyle.
Gomer Pyle in Full Metal Jacket. I can't remember what the actual name of the character was because everyone called him Gomer Pyle or Private Pyle in the movie. I think he had another name.
He had a real name, okay.
Yeah, but like they dropped everyone's real names like right at the beginning of the movie because there was this huge rant about, this is no longer your name. But I mean, that was supposed to be a documentary about the horrors of war and like how horrible it was to be in the Marines at that time. So I don't know, like how much are things significantly different. So it would be interesting to kind of see the modern perspective of what it is.
We'll tell you more about this video here. What's stirring up some controversy because it's showing a little slice of reality. What they were willing to show in front of the cameras, mind you. Let's go to Matthew in Louisiana. You're on Free Talk Live, listening via TuneIn.
So whenever I think about the current wars we're involved in, and then I compare them.
What war are you involved in? That sounds really stressful.
I'm talking about the ones that the United States.
Oh, okay, gotcha. The U.S. government. Okay.
Right. And I look back at previous wars, and I'm thinking to myself, what are we doing there? I mean,
well, first of all, if you're there, get out. You might get hit by a bullet or something like that. But
or a bomb. But no,
you know what they're doing there. They're doing the bidding of the politicians in Washington, D.C., and that's usually, the bidding usually has to do with protecting their buddies in industry, the oil companies, for instance, or the military manufacturers. Huh?
In Afghanistan?
Well, yeah, I guess you're saying there's not a lot of oil in Afghanistan. I'm just saying, I'm giving you examples of one of the things that they are doing.
And we don't need any Middle Eastern oil.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do we need that for? But I'm just beyond that. We're not really, our strategy to win just doesn't seem to be existent. I mean, they were negotiating, supposedly, peace talks with the Taliban, and then the Taliban hauls off and performs some kind of an attack. And I'm like, well, which Taliban attack? Was that the Taliban or the Taliban? I mean,
well, in order to win, you would have to have conditions that you would be able to identify to say, this is a win, right? Like, some in traditional war, it would be the giving up of the other side, the signing of a peace treaty or a surrender, some sort of an official surrender.
But there's no person over there who literally can speak with authority for whatever this group is and say, that's it, uncle. We quit. Because otherwise, I'd say, yeah, let's just call in the big bombers and just start, doing what we did to the North Koreans to convince them that they didn't want to play that game anymore. But there's nobody in Afghanistan who can say, sign on the dotted line. So I'm not sure that there's anything that you can define as a win to come out of that mess.
I can't agree more. Thank you, Matthew, for the call tonight. Appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. How do you define a win in Afghanistan? What does it look like?
Everyone leaving.
Everyone? You mean the military, the U.S. military?
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly would end the losses. It would end, whatever damage was being done to those troops that are encountering whatever they're encountering.
Taliban. We're going to win in the greatest way that you've ever seen. The Taliban will be gone. ISIS will be gone.
I love how you got the the mannerisms now, like the
yeah.
Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. More here from this story, and then back to your calls and thoughts. So, footage was taken by Lugosi, who was the Marine who...
The traitor.
They're mad at him. Then, at that time, a Lance Corporal and other combat cameramen during a deployment to Helmand Province with the 1st Battalion, 6th Marine Regiment between 2011 and 2012. Lugosi's job as a combat cameraman was to shoot and edit video of Marines at war. After being approved by the military, the footage was distributed to private news networks and the American Forces Network. A video Lugos shot of a November 2011 attack on a patrol base Georgetown in Helmand's Kajaki Sofia was picked up by CNN that winter and billed as a, quote, rare first-hand glimpse into a battle with the Taliban, unquote, and an, quote, unfiltered look, unquote, at the war. Look, if it goes through the Pentagon, it's filtered.
I mean, hey, at least it's not a video of a helicopter executing reporters, right?
That's what Bradley at the time, now Chelsea Manning had released via WikiLeaks, etc. Whatever happened with Assange? He must have never gotten turned over by
I guess
UK.
the embassy said that was nonsense or something. They backtracked.
They did. There's more on the way here. You can share your thoughts. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. What's the response to the shocking footage that has come out by this Marine who shot it in real life? You can share your thoughts with us. It's Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgoristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgoristHosting.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, bring up whatever you want. We're talking about a movie that's apparently about an hour long called Combat Obscura. And in the trailer, which this movie was shot by people in the Marines back in 2011 and 2012, coming out, I guess, recently, the trailer got some text interspersed with some video. It says, "Our job was to shoot and edit videos for the U.S. Marine Corps. We filmed what they wanted, then we kept shooting." And somehow managed to get the footage out. We'll continue telling you about it here. Ian and Johnson in the studio. We'll take your calls and thoughts. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. I mentioned ForkFest a little bit earlier here tonight. You can go to forkfest.party to learn more about the event that's coming up June 13th through the 18th in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. At Rogers Campground, you can get your camping site or RV site or even a motel room reserved whenever you're ready. Probably sooner would be better than later. Go to forkfest.party to learn more about the event. It's decentralized, which means there's nobody in charge. There's no board of directors. There's no organizers. Unless, of course, you want to organize something on your own campsite. So you want to put together, a speaker series, a poker game, some sort of, play or musical event or whatever. You can do that. You just do it and, come up with whatever equipment you need and put it on your campsite and have fun. Invite other people over, let people know, promote it on the Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum over at forkfest.party. It's Ian and Johnson here as we continue with your calls and thoughts. Subscribe to PewDiePie is on the line on our Discord call-in lines. Hello there.
Hello.
Hi, you're on the air.
Okay, so what I was wondering, what do you guys think of the paleo strategy?
Paleo like diet?
No, like the paleo libertarian strategy.
What is that?
You're not familiar with that?
Why would I be?
Do you know who Murray Rothbard was?
Yeah, I read one of his books when I was in jail for civil disobedience.
Well, one of the things that he came up with, which is like kind of divisive amongst libertarians, is he came up with the paleo strategy, which was essentially to try and appeal to rednecks. Because in the 90s he was upset because he thought libertarianism wasn't on a mainstream scale, like it wasn't getting any mainstream attention as an ideology. So he was like, "Oh, okay, well, we're going to have the paleo libertarian strategy, and what that's going to be is that's going to try and appeal to rednecks, and that's going to try and sort of introduce right-wing values into libertarianism." And so, like, he kind of injected, like, traditionalism, like, social conservatism, like, being pro-borders.
Ugh, sounds awful.
Yeah, but...
so Rothbard was one of those bordertarians or whatever? I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. He was totally bored. And one of the things he did was he actually endorsed Pat Buchanan's 1992 campaign for president, because he was like, okay, I don't agree with Pat Buchanan on the war on drugs, but on social issues, I agree with Pat Buchanan.
Well, so you asked the question of what do we think of this strategy of, you're saying, implementing conservative views or social views or whatever into libertarianism. Look, as far as I'm concerned, whatever libertarians think is the right path individually to bringing people into the movement, I think that's great. You know, whether it's people who are reaching out to folks who are on the left or people who are on the right, there's different people within libertarianism who are going to appeal to different people out there. And so somebody that maybe came from the left might not be the right person to talk to the people on the right. I don't know. I think that there's all kinds of different approaches that are probably necessary.
Yeah. And one of the most controversial...
Johnson, I don't know if you wanted to weigh in.
I was just going to say that I guess that if it's good, I mean, that we don't necessarily agree with you because, if we did fully agree with your philosophy, but I didn't agree with you personally, I would have you physically removed from the phone lines.
Oh, I see. Hoppian.
Yeah. So, I guess that's where I stand.
Yeah. But one of the more it's considered controversial because at one point Rothbard suggested trying to appeal to supporters of Joseph McCarthy and David Duke.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody's got all good ideas. Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate it. The
just sounds like selling out to try and appease
to make yourself
people.
more popular.
Yeah,
that's always been something that's rubbed me the wrong way with the libertarian movement in general, is this idea that they should water down the message in order to try to
That's a way to
grow their
surround
party.
yourself with a whole bunch of people that want to turn on you real fast.
That don't agree with you.
Yeah,
that actually don't agree with you. That if you've been doing what some people say that Rand Paul has done.
Like people that are just looking for an opportunity to take you down.
Or at the very least, who thought they liked you because you were like them, but then turns out you don't agree with them. And then they want to take you down once they find out that, well, you're the enemy or whatever.
Right. You don't agree with me on this 10% of things.
Let's talk to somebody who doesn't agree with us on much of anything. Sarah is in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes.
Yes, well, I cannot agree with you, but I still suck up to you because I want to talk about that.
Well, we don't need to be sucked up to, Sarah. There's no need to do that. Don't candy coat. Just let us have it. Whatever it is that you are calling to say, let's hear it.
Well, okay. Well, this month is a distracted driving awareness month. That's what it is. So
the other months of the year, you don't have to be worried about it. You can be distracted. You don't need to be aware of what's going on the road. Only this month, only April is when people need to be concerned, right? Because, it's dangerous on the roads in April.
Well, I have no idea what this means. Yesterday was the Road Worker Safety Awareness Day, and this month is the Distracted Driving Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that means.
Yeah, it's
but
just
at least they talk about it on the news. That it's like, oh my goodness,
Yeah, I'm not convinced that having a month dedicated to making people aware of the distractions that they have while they drive is doing anything whatsoever to reduce distracted driving. It just sounds to me like a feel-good thing, and there's probably some organization out there that's getting like a big grant check from the government to do things like, to hold some sort of distracted driving awareness festival, have a seminar about it, and they're probably just cashing a paycheck. That's not to say that I don't think people should pay attention while they're driving. I think you should. But that said.
Yeah, distracted driving, what's the statistics, I don't know. That's I don't know. A lot of accidents are caused by it.
No doubt. Thanks for the call tonight, Sarah. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. It's probably one of the most common reasons why people get into an accident, because they weren't paying attention.
I'm gonna theorize that I can guess, and I know Sarah's last name now. I believe her last name is Yeswell.
Yeswell?
Yeswell.
Because that's what she says.
She starts every single phone call with, yes, well.
855-450-FREE is our number. Let's talk to, if he unmutes his microphone, maybe not. He's got his headphones muted. Free Market Penguin. We'll check back with him here in a moment. So the video is called Combat Obscura. It is a movie recently apparently released based on footage filmed by people in the Marines. And they said, we filmed what we wanted, but then we kept shooting. This video includes footage, this documentary includes footage the Marine Corps never approved for release. So it's shot by Marines. So this is like the stuff they didn't want you to see. And it says here, the website calls it the documentary the Corps doesn't want you to see. Initial threats of legal action by the Marine Corps against Lagos for using footage apparently shot on government equipment substantiate that claim. Previously, Lagos said, so they went after him. Previously, Lagos said he hadn't considered making the material into a full-length documentary until after he'd enrolled in film school at Columbia University and realized what he had. Working with the Knight First Amendment Institute at the school, he pushed back against the military's threats, according to the Columbia University statement. I'll tell you more about how this movie came into existence and what people are upset about. Some of the details on the footage on the way here. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. And then coming up, PayPal's fees and why you should care. It's Free Talk Live.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us here. The toll-free number, if you want, is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. By the way, big thanks going out to Dave Burns, who is a Free Talk Live Platinum amplifier. Platinum meaning that Dave is contributing $25 a month to the Free Talk Live AMP program, which is way above and beyond what we asked for. We asked for $5. He's doing $25, so thank you, Dave, for that. The AMP program stands for Advertise, Market, Promote. The idea is that the money that you contribute will be invested into Free Talk Live and help us reach out to new radio stations, bring new internet listeners on board, and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. In fact, we just added a new station in Vermont over the weekend, and we'll officially announce them on Sunday because they're a Sunday night show. So I don't want to say who they are right now, but Vermont's not a very big place, but it's in one of the big cities in Vermont. So we'll let you know more about that. But it's because of listeners like you and like Dave becoming amplifiers over at amp.freetalklive.com. And yeah, you get some cool perks that you get access to, like the AMP call-in, or excuse me, not the call-in lines, but there's AMP chat rooms on our Discord server. There are actually AMP numbers for the call-ins, but why would you want to use the phone when you could be on Discord and sound so much better? So there's some perks there. So get more of the details. Get signed up over at ampamp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. We are sharing with you a story about Combat Obscura. This is a new documentary. Johnson, you just watched the trailer during the break. We actually have Johnny Ray, who is in the studio. He's doing some cleaning for us in the background. Former co-host, professional janitor, and former Marine, who I'm sure he's very interested in checking this out. He came in to watch the trailer with us as well. What were your thoughts?
It reminded me a lot of there's been some movies made around about Iraq and whatnot. And I think the movie that I'm thinking of, Jarhead, is the one that I'm thinking of, where there were some combat scenes. Or now,
was Jarhead favorable to the military or no?
No, definitely not.
Okay, that's why I remember that name, is because they were critical, so they didn't get any like military money and like free tanks or whatever. Because if you give your script to the military and they go over it and they say, well, if you change this, you change this, and change this, then we'll give you helicopters and tanks, and you can do things. You shoot those with your cameras.
It was Jake Gyllenhaal, Jamie Foxx, and I think the slang term used to refer to United States Marines. I'm just looking to see.
That's Jarhead, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if it was, if there was any sort of, it was Universal Pictures. I mean, it was a big movie. I just don't know whether or not they had any sort of affiliation or not. But I remember it not being, positive to
the Marines. And that's what the Marines are so mad about, this Combat Obscura. They actually threatened the director with legal action. He ended up standing up for himself, fighting back, looks like maybe with the assistance of his school at that point, the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University, where he went to film school after realizing, or then he realized once he was in film school, what he had, the footage that he was sitting on from what they shot with military equipment, mind you, back in 2011, 2012. After a preliminary inquiry...
Yeah. So, sorry, I just was reading this, this is from like the wiki on Jarhead. So, it seems like it was good because it was a little bit realistic. So it says the film received mixed reviews from critics, registering a 61% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert gave the movie 3.5 out of 4 stars, crediting it for its unique portrayal of Gulf War Marines who battled boredom and a sense of isolation rather than enemy combatants. And so I guess, that was. So I was thinking of the right movie in that it's, did a lot of that, talking about what probably is mostly the reality.
After a preliminary inquiry by the Naval Criminal Investigation Service, military officials decided not to pursue litigation against Lagos, that's the director of the movie, Combat Obscura, and any of those depicted in the film, quote, at this time, said Marine spokesbureaucrat Major Brian Block in an emailed statement. Block did say this in his statement, quote, the potentially criminal activity captured, like somebody smoking a bong or whatever, is inexcusable and selfish and endangered the security of the Marines in that unit. Unfortunately, the statute of limitations for pursuing disciplinary action has passed. So basically, they determined that they couldn't go after them. Legally, the activity includes Marines apparently smoking pot in several scenes, including one in which a Marine appears to be rolling a joint in front of Afghan children, and his colleague jokes about marrying an underage girl.
Oh, my God.
Quote, you join the Marine Corps, you think the Marine Corps is like a bunch of perfect people, that don't do anything bad, says another Marine in a different scene after smoking. The Marine continues saying, quote, but the Marine Corps is full of the most, they blank some obscenity there, blank individuals I've ever met. Just like me, I'm going to guess that's effed up.
Yeah.
Would be my guess, without having seen the footage. The speaker is the only person in the film who asked to have his face blurred, according to Lagos, who said most of the men in the movie were happy for the public to see what their combat experience was actually like. He said, quote, I think veterans of this war are at a point where we're sick of the hero worshipping and the sugarcoating of the experience, and a lot of us are sick of people saying, thank you for your service, without actually getting in a real conversation about what we did and what happened. Now, isn't that interesting? Because, at least I think that is, to actually have people in the military who are pushing back against this habit that a lot of people in the United States, whether they be, on the left or on the right, seem to have this habit of saying thanks for your service to anybody that was in the military, as though they are serving the individual saying that thing. Because the people saying thanks for your service, well, you didn't ask them to do that. You didn't ask.
Right.
You didn't ask for their service. You don't even know, as this guy's pointing out, you don't even know what they did.
Right.
They might have been slaughtering innocent people in some village in Afghanistan, dropping bombs. In the trailer, there's a scene where a building explodes and some guy off camera goes, "That's the wrong building."
Right.
Well, were there people in there?
Yeah.
There's a good chance of that. Whoops. Just dropped a bomb on the road. Whoops. How'd that happen? So, people don't talk about that. They just hear that somebody was in the military, and it's just this reaction. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear them getting frustrated by it. Distributed by Oscilloscope Laboratories, the film is being released in a small number of theaters and then will be available to rent on iTunes.
I would love to be able to, if you could find a way to, get people that are signing up at the recruiting centers and poll them, so you could get a really large scale poll to ask people why they're signing up, their initial reasons, and then hold on to that information. Because people, the real reasons that people sign up, it's not because they're doing it I want to protect.
You want to serve the country,
right? Yeah, no, that's most people okay. Beyond that, what's your real reason? I'm hoping to get money for college, or I'm hoping,
women.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
What's going to be the?
There's a $5,000 signing bonus.
Ask the question what's the real reason you're signing up, and find out what that is.
If there were a good day to do that, I don't know what it would be. I don't know if there's one day in particular that has more people going to the recruiting office. Because I can tell you around here, you can probably stand out in front of that recruiting office in Keene all day and not encounter anybody. I mean, I've never actually done it, but it doesn't seem like the busiest of buildings in town. Which is a good thing.
It's going to be even less busy now that the restaurant next door closed down.
That's right. Yeah, Friendly's closing down in Keene. So while images of Marines smoking marijuana and swearing will be seen as a blemish by some on the branch's image, that's typical. I mean, soldiers have been cursing and smoking pot forever. I mean, come on. But other scenes, they say, are more disturbing and consequential. A Marine says in one part of the film, before his men interrupt a religious service at a rural compound, quote, "I don't care right now about their customs or their courtesies." After detaining the men there for what appears to be several hours, it's revealed the so-called high-value individuals being sought aren't there. In another scene, a patrol arrives to examine the body of a suspected Taliban fighter who's been shot dead. "Just like a deer," one Marine says of the corpse. As others talk to the lifeless body, the group quickly realizes the man was an unarmed shopkeeper. Oops. The Marines discuss covering up the killing, as the man's body is shown being wrapped in a carpet, with one saying, quote, "This is no good for people to see." Due to a lack of narration giving context to the raw footage, it's often unclear exactly what's happening during the seemingly arbitrary assortment of scenes, but as the film progresses, a sense of the troops' insensitivity and hubris becomes palpable. The Marines in the film appear unsuited to the counterinsurgency strategy that U.S. commanders were pursuing at the time.
You mean a bunch of 18-year-olds aren't, suited to the type of things that they're being commanded to do?
Yeah, well, that's
there's a reason why the military wants children who can't think for themselves.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's not to say that teenagers can't think for themselves.
Well,
however,
yeah, those particular teenagers, people who are joining the military at that age can't think for themselves. It's not that because they're that age; it's because they're the type of people who join the military.
They're the same guys who'd be partying hard on the weekends if they were still in, the United States, right?
They're, I feel like a lot of them are desperate for something, and they're also, they're willing to put their lives on the line.
Speaking of desperation, PayPal apparently raising their fees, and why that matters and what it means to cryptocurrency. We can talk about all that. Johnson, you've got that story coming up, and your calls and thoughts are welcome. 855-450 free like freedom. Join us here. Hour 2's next on Free Talk Live.
Gold is a better way. Imagine doing business with a company that seeks to add massive value before asking for your business. My name's Adam Barata. I'm the co-owner of Advantage Gold and the author of the national best-selling book, Gold is a Better Way. The book may not be for you, but the tens of thousands who've read it have been blown away to learn why gold is set to soar to over $10,000. We're so confident this book will change the way you think about investing, we've purchased 1,000 copies from the publisher and are giving them to serious investors. If you have an IRA or 401k with over $100,000, we'd like to send you your copy. Just text the word bestseller to 49776. That's bestseller to 49776. You can buy it on Amazon, go to Barnes & Noble, or text bestseller and get it for free. Text bestseller to 49776. That's bestseller to 49776. We promise to add massive value before ever asking for your business. Gold is a better way. Text bestseller to 49776.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,305. Silver at $15.29, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,225. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, just hours after President Trump formally designated Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps as a terrorist organization, Iran's foreign ministry has put forward a bill placing U.S. Central Command on a list of organizations designated as terrorists. Activist Post reports the Iranian foreign ministry responded to the designation Monday, recommending that President Hassan Rouhani designate U.S. Central Command, a U.S. military theater-level command whose area of responsibility includes the Middle East, on the list of organizations designated as terrorists by Iran. Previously, the Iranian foreign minister noted that those U.S. officials who advocated IRGC blacklisting seek to drag the U.S. into a quagmire. Iranian officials previously warned that the IRGC's inclusion on the U.S. terror list would be a mistake, which would prompt Iran to acquaint the U.S. military with Daesh or ISIS. A bill introduced in the Texas Senate would prohibit vaccines from being administered unless certain safety criteria are met. The Free Thought Project reports passage of the bill would significantly strengthen vaccine safety testing requirements and push back against any future federal vaccine mandates. Republican Senator Bob Hall introduced the Senate bill March 8th. The legislation would only permit a healthcare provider to administer a vaccine if certain criteria are met. After recent comments by former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb in February of 2019, just prior to his resignation, some believe that federal vaccine mandates are imminent. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% on your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. The Arab League on Monday called for a decisive international response to the recent statements made by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on annexing the occupied Palestinian West Bank. The anti-media reports the League's Assistant Secretary General of the occupied Palestinian and Arab lands said Netanyahu's remarks would lead to dangerous repercussions, adding that the international response must be derived from international law. Abu Ali urged the international community to immediately announce its stance on the Israeli remarks. He also demanded the International Criminal Court open an immediate official investigation into what he described as the ongoing settlement crimes in the Palestinian territories. On Saturday, Netanyahu told the Israeli Channel 12 that he would annex Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank if he wins another term in office, a move that had enraged the Arab and international governments. A former officer with the LAPD pleaded guilty Friday to raping a 13-year-old girl. The girl was the daughter of his good friend, a fellow cop. The Free Thought Project reports 52-year-old Kenneth Collard pleaded guilty to 2 counts of a lewd act upon a child in the April 4, 2018 attack, during which he was still employed as a police officer. He is expected to be sentenced to 5 years behind bars. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after accidentally clicking like on nearly 400 of his ex-girlfriend's Facebook photos earlier today, panicked area man Adam Nuntsing spoke to Onion reporters about his mistake.
Damn it, I was just looking at one of Rebecca's Instagram photos that showed up on my newsfeed, and the next thing I know, I just liked every single photo that she posted over the last 4 years. I didn't mean to, but it just kind of happened.
The 28-year-old told reporters that he had browsed through 14 of his ex-girlfriend's photo albums while inadvertently clicking like on each and every picture, including dozens from her office picnic last fall, her trip to New York in 2010, and a photo of her and her first boyfriend from 2006.
I thought if I went back and clicked unlike on all those pictures, that maybe she wouldn't get any notifications. But then I saw some other albums, and I ended up liking 80 more photos and shared them on my wall. Shit.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free to join us here if you want. You can bring up anything that's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Coming up, Venezuelans now looting corpses because that's how desperate they are. On the way also, Johnson, you've got a story for us about PayPal. We're going to talk about apparently their fee structure, which doesn't sound like a particularly interesting subject on its own, but there's more to this, and why you should care about that coming up here in moments, what it means to cryptocurrency. But your calls and thoughts are welcome, so we'll start out this hour with Free Market Penguin. He's on our Discord call-in lines over on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to call about this topic just because I happen to have listened to an entire NPR show about this film featuring the guy that made it. I don't know if it's the producer, but also the cameraman.
You're talking about Combat Obscura, the movie we were talking about in the first hour?
Yeah.
Okay,
Combat Obscura.
So just for listeners who aren't familiar, this is the movie, just like people are always tuning in here. There's Marines who had military video equipment. Their job was to record, the reality of combat or whatever. And then, of course, the Marines put out their official version of this footage. And the guy who shot it held on to all the footage, apparently. And much to the Marines' chagrin, put out his version of this movie with all the stuff the Marines didn't want you to see. So, sorry, you were saying you saw a report on NPR about this?
Yeah, well, no, it was a whole hour-long show with featuring the cameraman and the I don't know if he was the producer, the guy behind the film. I think also was a Marine. I'm not actually sure if it was a Marine. He might have just been a documentarian, but
no, it was a full crew of Marines.
Yeah, but one guy was specifically the cameraman that you mentioned there.
Yeah.
I wanted this. The one thing that I remember that really stuck out at me while I was on hold, you actually mentioned it. When they came upon the shopkeeper who they had actually shot him, but they'd actually, I assume they had like a recon team or something get him from a distance. They actually had to go pretty high up the chain of command to get the green light to shoot at somebody without being shot at first. But they came upon the shopkeeper who they determined actually was not what they assumed he was doing. Was they seen him near a road on a cell phone, which means that I guess battalion or whoever command will approve them to take him out because he was doing he was calling in, scouting, doing recon for the Taliban. And so they shot him, killed him, and then...
Wow, so because a guy was on his cell phone means that he's doing recon for the Taliban and deserves death.
That's how it is. And plenty of times in Iraq, you see a guy on a cell phone near and looking at a road, he's dead, depending on the rules of engagement. Absolutely. Insane. There's accounts of that.
It's crazy.
And you wonder why they're so pissed off that the troops are there. Foreign troops.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't even walk down the street with a cell phone in your hand without getting shot at. That's nuts.
Just like the hero, the American Sniper, they made that movie that all the conservatives went to.
Mm-hmm.
They he resorted to putting out scraps of metal, I think copper or something of value out in the street just to get some men of fighting age. So I guess between 13 and 40 or 15 and 50 or whatever to go retrieve it. Then he would just pick them off.
Him. Damn.
Yeah. American hero. Yeah, made a whole movie about him. But you have to wonder that after all, they say that there are troops deploying now that weren't even alive when the war started.
That's right.
And that would be the same for the Taliban.
18 years. Yeah, great point.
And they're not the same people. They're not the same individuals. They're not fighting for the same reasons. They're going to keep. Who do you think they're fighting? Is a Taliban army that is just training and sending millions and millions of men into this country to fight a war against America? No, they're just Afghan people. They're going to continue fighting, and they will never stop until foreign troops and foreign puppet forces. Just today,
the same way. Hold on, but that's the same is true for this country, right? Like if there were occupying forces in the United States, we've asked our callers, the militaristic callers, this a zillion times over the years. Is if the Chinese were occupying your streets, wouldn't you fight against them? And they're all like, well, yeah. So it's the same exact thing would happen here.
They're not some group. They're not some army, some nation. They are literally people who are going to keep recruiting numbers until foreign troops and the puppet army. What I was going to say is the Afghan troops or the Afghan military and government spokesmen are saying there's no way if you draw down these troops, if you take this unit out of our country, there's no way we'll keep a hold of this country. They'll take over right away. Ragtag farmers that have been killed their numbers have been depleted many times over, but they will never stop getting recruits as long as
every innocent shopkeeper that gets killed, every house that gets bombed is another reason to sign up for the Taliban and do what you got to do.
So in that scene, actually, what happens is they're actually hiding the body because the ANA, Afghan National Army troops, are telling them they need to hide the body because they don't want the locals to see that. Because of course that's just more recruitment material for the Taliban.
Yep. Doesn't look good.
It's disgusting, yeah.
Thanks for sharing that tonight. Anything else, Free Market Penguin?
Absolutely. No, that was it. But that really struck out at me. I just wanted to share that. It's just disgusting. They think this is some kind of a war, not a war. It's just basically continuous murder in another country, and we're not fighting an enemy force. We are fighting literally the people in that country, and we call them the Taliban. So
good call. Thanks for making
obvious.
it. Appreciate it. Toll-free number 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, you can call in and sound great on Discord, just like he did there. Discord server is over at discord.lrn.fm. Johnson, PayPal. A lot of people have PayPal account. You've got one. I got one. I probably got 3. But it's ubiquitous online. If you use eBay, you pretty much have to have a PayPal account, right? What did they buy eBay years ago? I think it was.
And then they sold them off. I don't know what's true about eBay now.
Okay.
I think it's still like pretty much the de facto standard.
Yeah.
At the very least.
So PayPal has a huge installed user base across the planet. And so when they change their fees, some people are going to take notice, but this is more than about just their fees. Johnson, tell me where where's the story from? What's going on?
So the story is from newsbtc.com.
Okay.
And so
Bitcoin
it's about
site.
Yeah, new PayPal fee structure shows why we need crypto and Bitcoin, and I think it's pretty evident. I mean, PayPal's kind of been this organization that a lot of people wanted to get away from for a long time because of how they treat their customer, which is poorly, to say the least.
This is what I've heard over the years. I'm so fortunate to have not had any real nightmares with PayPal.
I mean, I just wish that one of these big companies, like I've been hoping that a Google or an Amazon would create an auction site. Something
to compete with eBay.
No competition with eBay really exists. There are other auction sites out there, but they've all been pretty terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so far removed from being good. It would take a company that has the ability to put a little bit of a chunk of change into some development, but I feel like it could be improved over eBay pretty quickly. At any rate, PayPal, which basically was first to market with that. So PayPal and eBay as their, as a combination when they were the same company, got market dominance by just basically being first to market.
Yep.
Well, now they've recently announced that PayPal will be keeping all sellers' fees when processing a refund going forward. So formerly, if somebody needed to get a refund, everything would be refunded. They'd be like, okay, no harm, no foul. We erased the entire transaction. It's just like it never happened. Now PayPal is interjecting themselves and saying, well, we processed the transaction, so we're keeping all the fees. And those fees, in most cases, are pretty large. They charge pretty good sized chunk of change for those fees. And I'm not just talking listing fees. I'm talking about the processing fee. Like 40 cents plus 2.9% or whatever that is. So if it's a big transaction, they're keeping a lot of money.
Okay, hold on. So I thought you said PayPal doesn't own eBay anymore. So they're not taking the auction fee.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
So you're just saying the PayPal fee, which
right.
So whatever, $100 transaction, you're talking about a $3.25 fee or something like that, basically, right? Okay. We'll get into why this matters coming up here in moments.
Well, I think it depends on the size of the transaction that occurred, the size of the fees.
PayPal's pretty straight, 2.9% fee plus a flat
percent. That's what I'm saying. So if it's a big, huge transaction.
Oh, right. Yeah, more coming up here. We'll continue, and you can share your thoughts with us.
What does it cost costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
Formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways.
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
Hours spent volunteering at a local homeless shelter truly make her death at the hands of a drunk driver earlier this week all the harder to take for this school and this community. I never knew Amanda, but everywhere I went there were touching reminders of the caring friend she would have been to me had I known her. Losing Amanda was one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with, but I knew I had to be strong for this community. I couldn't let them go through the funeral without my support.
She's so much better than all of us. She was so much good. She cared about so many people. She loved you so much. What's your name? She loved you, Russell.
And we have O'Brady Shaw with us right now.
Thanks, Brooke.
Not quite how I would have reported the story. Seems a bit unprofessional to let yourself get so emotional.
Well, when people are feeling pain, I feel it too. Don't you ever get emotionally invested in a story?
No, I don't. You know, I had my tear ducts cauterized years ago, and I like to keep my emotions stored in a special place in my mind where they only come out for my night terrors.
This is the Onion News Network.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Whether it's the reality of life in the Marines, which we discussed in the first hour with a new documentary film showing some unpleasantries. It's Ian and Johnson, by the way, in the studio with you tonight. Now, getting into the world of finance and PayPal coming up with a pretty controversial new policy to actually punish, apparently, sellers of products who issue refunds to their customers. Johnson, you're going to continue with that story. But first, Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. You go to Bitcoin.com. They'll help you choose a Bitcoin wallet, buy some Bitcoin, and show you where you can spend your Bitcoin. In fact, they've even got a games site where you can have a little bit of fun with your Bitcoin. You can read the latest news or engage with the community on the Bitcoin forum. Go to Bitcoin.com and you'll find all of that and more. Once again, that's Bitcoin.com. So, Johnson, the story coming out of, what was the publication?
It was BTC News.
Ah, yes, that's right. So, looking at PayPal, new policy apparently. Is this gone into effect where sellers, if they issue a refund to one of their customers for whatever reason, I guess the reason doesn't matter here, right? They're just going to punish the seller by keeping the fee?
Yeah, pretty much. So,
tell me more.
I'm trying to figure out where I left off here. So I believe, so in addition to the seller fee adjustments, PayPal has also announced that it will be altering how it handles, international payments. Transferring funds from one nation to another used to have a flat fee, but will cost a percentage of the total amount transferred. Clearly, any crypto can beat this international transaction fee by more than an insignificant amount. And so the question, of course, being asked here is, could PayPal angering users benefit crypto? According to a report in TechSpot, PayPal has infuriated many of its loyal users with its latest changes to its terms and conditions. Previously, the company would take a small set fee of 30 cents from the seller in each retail transaction occurring on the network, as well as
plus 2.9%.
2.9% of the value of the goods or service sold. If the buyer requested a refund for whatever reason, the set fee would be kept by PayPal, which makes sense. 30 cents,
really?
Right, to process the transaction. Okay.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. But the percentage would be refunded to the seller, which makes sense, right? You have the flat fee for doing the processing work, right? There's a little bit of computer work there. There's, hosting the bandwidth and all that stuff. There's got to be fees for the service in general, right?
I didn't even know the 30-cent thing was non-refundable.
Yeah. So 30 cents, that seems to me, per transaction, 30 cents per transaction, PayPal is still making a killing on that, right?
They don't have to, to me, that should be refundable as well because it's just a computer system. You're just undoing ledger entries within PayPal.
I know, but computers still do have somewhat of a cost, and they're a huge company, and there's...
Yeah, but what percentage of every out of 100 transactions on PayPal, what percentage of them are refunded?
Really, that fee should be like 3 cents, not 30. But whatever, 30 cents. I'm not going to begrudge them 30 cents for doing it each transaction.
Fair enough.
Right? Whatever.
That's typical. Cents. That's pretty typical. Like if you look at credit card fees, there's usually like a 25-cent fee or 10-cent fee or whatever.
Right. Well, in the latest revision of its policies as of May 7th, 2019, International Payments Processing Firm, the International Payments Processing Firm, PayPal, has now made it so that it keeps both the set fee and the percentage of the item's value when a refund is requested.
Ooh.
This essentially is the same as charging a seller for the customer changing their mind about a purchase.
That's huge. That's a huge hit to people. Because we've known people that have done online stores. I mean, you've got one, libertyminded.com, but you're not using... Are you using PayPal?
No.
You're not using PayPal. So you've got your own credit card processing thing going on there.
Actually, I might offer PayPal as an option.
Yeah,
which I might stop
you might stop
yeah.
Because there have been people who and you've worked for some folks that have done online selling, like James Cleveland.
Yeah. I've done my own eBay selling and other selling in the past. Like in fact, let me make this point and then I'll echo it with one of my own. They said the report in TechSpot, so there was a TechSpot report on this, highlights the unfairness of the amendment with an example in which a seller must refund a $1,000 purchase at a cost of $29 to themselves. No. I'm thinking with the fact when I sold a Mini Cooper on eBay before.
A car.
Uh-huh. I sold a car, and I think I sold a car.
I didn't even know you had a Mini Cooper.
I didn't. It was I was managing the sale for someone else. I was managing the sale for someone else. But, it was over $20,000.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, what that, is going to be? I also, for that same person, managed a sale of a $6,000, Cannondale bicycle. Imagine, paying whatever, like $200 or $200 and some odd dollars because the buyer changed their mind. That stuff happens all the time.
Right.
And PayPal's, making it's ridiculous.
Well, and then also, I think something worth pointing out here about selling things on eBay, for instance, because again, this is going to hit a lot of eBayers because they all use PayPal. They basically have to sell on eBay. People who are selling for business, this is what they do. Their margins aren't that great. Like, it's frustrating when you get a refund because you've got to spend time to process that refund, and you're not getting paid for that. You're taking back a product from somebody who maybe the customer was a scam artist, maybe they were dishonest, maybe they lied, who knows, or maybe they just honestly got the wrong thing or whatever, right? Like, there's different reasons why these things can happen. But either way, it's costly on its own to process a refund. Above a certain amount of returns, some of these sites will punish you, from what I understand. I remember James Cleveland complaining because every refund that was asked for by a customer was a huge ding against his eBay account, and if he didn't keep a certain level of, if his refunds went over a certain amount, I don't know what it was low, then he would lose his pro seller status. He would lose, he would be punished. He wouldn't make as much money because of doing that. I mean, so now you add to that all that stress, the fact that every time you get a refund, you lose significant money, 3% of every sale.
Yeah.
You can't just turn around and raise the price again on the next customer.
Right.
So especially if you're doing like Think Penguin, where you currently work, thinkpenguin.com that sells computer hardware, you can't just turn around and increase the next cost of a laptop 3% just because somebody decided to send one back. You have to eat that cost. That's brutal.
Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling this could result, if people are still going to be required to sell on PayPal, that there'll be some sort of a database of customers that request refunds. You'd better be real careful about requesting a refund in the future, because I think what's going to happen is that businesses are going to start opting into like a refund request service where they mark
a problem customer,
mark customers that request refunds. So if you request a refund, you're going to get
in a database.
You're going to get in a database. And, people will start blocking these customers. You just won't even be able to buy from people.
Wow.
That's my guess as to what would happen, because that's what I would want to do as a thing. I don't want a seller who's going to,
You don't want to sell to a high-risk customer at this point. I mean, it used to be risky anyway, just selling to strangers over the internet. Now they can hurt you if they refund, you.
Yeah, it's a huge, 30 cents is one thing. 3% is a huge difference.
What if somebody wants to particularly target you? Right. What if somebody doesn't like your business and they want to order stuff from you, then do the refund, and then hit you for however much money that is?
Right.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but it could happen.
Yep.
So there's more here about, how can cryptocurrency help this, right? This situation. 855-450 free, and it definitely will. The question is, will the PayPal people who are mad about this find out about crypto? Because there's not necessarily a connection here. We're going to have to somehow alert them to it. 855-450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. Freedom freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And if you're going to pay for something on PayPal and you kind of know the person, better to do the friends and family thing, because they do have that method, Johnson. That's kind of how I usually do things if I can, because then they don't charge you a fee. Because ultimately, if you're just moving money within PayPal, there's no real cost to that beyond running whatever the server is, right? Like if you've got a PayPal account, I've got a PayPal account, there's a balance in both of those, in one or the other PayPal accounts, and the person with the balance goes to pay the other person, well then you haven't had to, dock money out of somebody's credit card. You haven't had to pull money out of a bank account. The money was already there in PayPal's ledger. They are charging you to move money across their own ledger. And they're charging you a lot of money. And in fact, now with this new development starting on May 7th, I think you said it was.
Well, the change to the terms is on May 7th. I don't know if this is started immediately or if it's starting soon.
Presumably, if they're going to change the terms, it would start immediately. But whatever, they're going to, very soon, they're going to implement this new policy that sellers will have to eat the fees that they, there's a cut taken out of the amount.
Or they're going to backpedal over the outrage, but we'll see.
They may backpedal, which is fine.
That would be good.
That's good. Let's see. One of our chatters in our Discord server, Randcap, says that apparently eBay is no longer requiring PayPal,
right?
Which it used to be that because they owned PayPal owned eBay, but now eBay apparently is launching their own payments system, so they're competing with PayPal. That's nice to hear.
Yeah,
I'll be sure to take a look.
Imagine if that becomes the next PayPal.
Well,
eBay spawns another payment service.
Yeah. So we're talking about alternatives here, Johnson, and you've got more to the story from News BTC, I think it was, about what is cryptocurrency going to do to, how can cryptocurrency solve this situation for people?
Yeah. And so it says here, examples such as the recent irking of PayPal users could eventually provide an opportunity for Bitcoin and other cryptos. Essentially, PayPal justifies its fee taking as the cost of ensuring trust between two parties. They act as mediator between two individuals or companies that may not know each other and can charge what they want for the service. Bitcoin and other cryptos do not rely on a central authority to provide mediation. This role is distributed among all the network's miners, and therefore no one party can make any demands on the network's users as PayPal can do on a whim.
Sure, PayPal wants to freeze your account. They can freeze your account. If PayPal wants to shut you down, they can shut you down. If they want to raise the fees, they can raise the fees. And all you can do is take your ball and go home. If they haven't locked your account down.
Right. PayPal also makes its money from users when they send money from one country to another. The firm used to charge a flat fee for this service. However, with the latest terms and condition changes, it has announced that it will now charge a variable fee of 5%. This international transaction fee will be no more than $4.99 and no less than 99 cents. Since the fee is capped, those sending smaller sums of money are penalized with harsh fees of 5% or even more, whilst those sending huge sums of money will only pay less than the $5 maximum.
This was international, you said? For
Yes.
international transfers?
Yeah.
Okay.
The real impact of this is that the poorest are effectively charged the most.
Again, this is within PayPal, right? We're talking about from somebody with a
PayPal to
Chinese
PayPal,
PayPal account to somebody with a U.S. PayPal account.
Yeah. Compare this with cryptocurrency. Crypto, like Bitcoin, does not care which imaginary lines it has to travel across to get to its destination.
Nope.
Sending Bitcoin, Ether, Dash, or Litecoin to your friend sat next to you or to the furthest point around the world will from you.
Some of these Bitcoin websites, man, the editing's terrible.
Yeah. So it says sending Bitcoin, Ether, Dash, or Litecoin to your friend sat next to you or to the furthest point
Sitting next to
around
you.
the world from you.
Probably not written by an English speaker.
Yeah.
It would be my guess. A native English speaker.
Yeah. Costs exactly the same. As these payment networks continue to mature, it is likely that the harsh fee structures PayPal gets away with imposing will be a thing of the past. Likewise, crypto...
But what's PayPal, before you go on, what's PayPal going to do as a result of that? Like if Bitcoin starts to take off, if people start to really...
Well, PayPal's trying to make its own cryptocurrency.
Are
Apparently,
they?
Yeah, they've been looking into it supposedly, so...
Well, they better stop looking and start doing,
Yeah.
because the cryptocurrency world is going to leave them behind. But what are they going to do? Are they going to actually lower their fees if they feel like they're losing business to cryptocurrency? And how would they really know? I mean, they'll know when people stop using their service, but they won't necessarily know why, unless people want to give them feedback on the way out the door.
They do, I believe, have a some sort of like survey on the
Like
way
an
out.
exit survey.
Yeah, they do have like an exit survey. So the last thing said here is that likewise, crypto cannot withhold services to individuals in the same way that PayPal can and has done previously. Yeah, that's true too. PayPal has been really kind of horrible to some activists and other people they just yank their accounts.
Mhm.
So PayPal is definitely not pro freedom in many instances. PayPal is entirely Bitcoin is entirely permissionless and censorship resistant, meaning that no one can stop anyone else from using it.
Well, I mean, you can't stop somebody from using Bitcoin, but right now what we're seeing with Bitcoin is the network is getting loaded up again with some transactions. Now, apparently the claim is that there's some company that's been spamming the network with transactions, which costs money to do, by the way, because every transaction on the Bitcoin network involves a fee.
Right.
And so what's been happening, again, kind of like happened early in 2017, which was before the big Bitcoin run-up happened, but in early 2017, we started seeing fees go from 10 cents a Bitcoin transaction to $1 to $2 per Bitcoin transaction, and right now it's between $1 and $2 to get your Bitcoin transaction in the next block, as they call it, and that means that it would happen. It would be confirmed within the next 10 minutes. Basically, that's what that means, and that's not good. So at $1 or $2 for a fee on Bitcoin, that's not going to be attractive to people making purchases on PayPal. If you're under $50 or whatever, it's going to be about on par with the PayPal fees. So Bitcoin's got a huge problem that the programmers haven't solved yet. I mean, we've been talking about this for years, and they haven't solved the problem. In fact, apparently, some of the programmers on Bitcoin, now this is hearsay. I have not seen this statement for myself, but I've heard some of them are talking about making the block size smaller, making it so they can't fit as many transactions as they can today in each block on the Bitcoin blockchain. And the blockchain, for listeners that don't know, is the public ledger that is sort of the guts or the backing of the Bitcoin network. And so that would be insane because it would likely lead to even higher prices for Bitcoin transactions. But luckily, there are, I don't know, thousands of other cryptocurrencies out there, many of which are, the top 10 or top 20 are pretty viable as far as being able to use like Dash or Bitcoin Cash or some of these alternatives to be able to send value around. And in those cases, you're talking about, sub 1 cent fees. You're talking about next to nothing to send. Across the globe, any amount of money.
So last year, PayPal filed a patent apparently to speed up off-network transactions. They've been doing some other, they've been filing some other cryptocurrency-based patents.
Huh.
So, who knows what they're possibly doing. This happened last year, in fact, almost to the year. So, pretty interesting. So PayPal may be getting involved in crypto there on their own, but I don't know if it's going to be too late. If they're making decisions like this now, they're going to get,
they're left behind.
Yeah, they're going to get left behind.
Good,
big
which
time.
is what should happen.
Yeah.
To these big banking institutions, I'm not going to shed any tears when they finally, turn to dust after losing to cryptocurrencies. That would be ideal.
I mean, people hate PayPal, and they've always hated PayPal. And the only reason why people used PayPal is because they were forced to because of eBay.
That's a huge reason.
People are going to bail on PayPal. I think PayPal will be remembered like MySpace, almost identical.
You think so?
Yeah, I think PayPal is going to end up very much going a MySpace route.
Well, for now, you can still join the AMP program through PayPal over at amp.freetalklive.com. But we have alternatives, like just straight-up credit card. We've got a separate credit card processor that is not PayPal. And then also there's Bitcoin BTC that will allow you to join the AMP program as well over at ampamp.freetalklive.com. We got more coming up here. You can share your thoughts with us. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Did you know Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, is doing a health seminar on April the 8th at the Hilton Garden Inn? That's 8202 South 100th East Avenue, Tulsa, Oklahoma. The meeting will get started promptly at 7 o'clock. Distributors are $10 and everyone else is free. If you have any questions, call Brandy at 615-389-7733.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, And sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial in, toll free, bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
And me, Johnson.
And, of course, you can join us online anytime you want. Just head over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features that are waiting for you over there. Once again, that's freetalklive.com. We're talking crypto, specifically in response to the ridiculous, outrageous fee structure that they made some changes over at PayPal to make it even worse than ever for sellers. If you get a refund, well, sorry, you lose the fee. The customer paid.
Yeah.
So the customer gets the whole refund back, I presume, right?
Right. Yeah, they would get everything.
But they dock it out of what you took. I guess. Wait a minute. How does that work? So if PayPal refunds all the money to the customer, do they then dock an extra fee from you? Because normally wouldn't. When a customer
I'm guessing that the customers are no longer going to get the
full amount.
The full amount.
So that's going to piss off both buyer and seller then, in that case.
Yeah, everyone is going to hate PayPal.
Well, alrighty then.
Yeah.
So if you want to comment, you're welcome to. Speaking of cryptocurrency, you want to learn how to take it? It's way easier than you think. Just go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. Our friends over at AnyPay.global, they've set up this new website, helpmetakebitcoin.com, to walk you through, step by step, the easy steps that you have to complete before you can accept payment in things like Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash or Dash or Zcash at your point of sale. Brick and mortar, real life business. How do you take crypto? It's super easy. Just go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. You've heard the news about PayPal. There's no better time than now to start this process. You're not too late. I realize there's a lot of people out there that feel like they missed the boat on this cryptocurrency thing. Let me tell you, we're just beginning to see cryptocurrency's impact on the world economy. There's still not enough people that are filtering out of the banking system and the PayPals of the world and going into crypto. But the more they screw people, and they will continue to screw people, the more they do it, the more Western Union and MoneyGram raise their fees, the more PayPal starts jacking people around, because, again, it was also international transfers. They're now doing 5% apparently within PayPal. Again, this is just PayPal moving money within their own system. The fees are just getting more and more ridiculous. And over time, people are going to look for other options. And at some point, somebody's going to say to them, hopefully, hey, did you know you could send me, like if it's somebody on the other side of the world, hey Mom, did you know you could send me money, or I can send you money through Bitcoin. We can use Bitcoin instead of MoneyGram or PayPal, and then instead of 5% or $50 or whatever fee, the ridiculous fee is they have, it's going to be a fraction of. Well, if it's Bitcoin, it might be $1 or $2. But if it's Bitcoin Cash or Dash or one of these other ones, you're talking about a penny or less.
Hey, $1's still better than $5.
It's still better, but it's not anything to get too excited about. But these other cryptos, you don't have to have Bitcoin BTC. Like Coinbase and a lot of these other sites, Uphold.com, they'll take your Bitcoin Cash directly and convert it into fiat money if that's what you want to do with it. They'll take Coinbase doesn't take Dash, but Uphold.com does. So some of these things you don't even have to convert to Bitcoin to get out of. So there are absolutely solutions available for whether it be sellers or family members sending money across the world. It's just a no-brainer. Anyway, if you want to learn how to take it at your retail establishment, go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. That's helpmetakebitcoin.com. As we go to Liberty Phoenix, he's on the line in Illinois. He's on our Discord on-air call-in line rooms.
Evening, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to talk to you guys again.
Yeah, welcome.
I believe you guys opened the show with a discussion about one Marine's take on essentially the psychopathy in the military.
Yeah, what it was a movie, a documentary film that we haven't watched, but it's been getting some news coverage called Combat Obscura. And it is it's real footage filmed by Marines with military equipment that, they were assigned to do this. This was their job. Was to get purported real footage of the Marines in combat. And, of course, they dutifully turned over their footage to the Marines, and they pumped out whatever propaganda piece that they pumped out of it. And the guy who shot the footage somehow managed to keep all the footage and put his own movie together, which showed the, let's say, less than proud scenes involving some of these Marines. Well, no, it wasn't even a director's cut because it wasn't of the same... it wasn't. He didn't recut the Marines' propaganda. He just made his own movie from the footage that he shot, which included a lot of stuff that the Marines would not use.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this film. I spent 5 years in the Marine Corps, 5 years out of a 6-year contract that I was supposed to be in until I just finally got fed up with it and said I'm not doing this anymore. I called my corporal. I'm not coming in again because thankfully I was in the reserves. And we had heard at one AT, if you go AWOL in the reserves, there's really nothing they can do about it, which I did, and nothing really happened, and it was kind of nice. I guess I kind of got lucky in this aspect. Wow. But one of the mitigating factors for my decision to refuse to go back, and part of the reason why the day that I was supposed to go to drill, and I was getting ready to go and looked at myself in the mirror, getting my uniform all squared away, and I got physically ill, and I vomited.
Wow!
As I was just ashamed of myself, and then what that uniform stood for was the actions of a lot of the other Marines in my unit. We were told that we were one of the most combat-ready units in the entire Marine Corps, like not just the reserves, but the entire Marine Corps, and it was. It was a joke. Half the people didn't know their jobs. The other half would screw you over. I mean, it's a common thing that if you're supposed to have your cover for a formation, your hat, and if somebody didn't, you made sure that you kept yours because someone will snatch it. There was no honor among those thieves. It was ridiculous. And there was several people that was like, yeah, man, I can't wait till we deploy so I can kill some people. Like it was and not even. That's not even an embellishment. That's not creative license. That's
You're saying it wasn't 1 out of 100 people that were like that. It was more common.
Oh, absolutely.
You're talking about like 5 out of 25 or something like that, or what?
Eager to murder, 60 to 70%.
60 to 70% eager to murder?
Heck yeah!
Wow. I mean, that's worse than I thought it was.
This mentality where it's this groupthink, and people just feed off of one another, and you don't want to go against the grain and then step against them. I mean, these are your brothers. These are the people that are going to have your back.
They'll murder you. If you go against them, you might end up dead.
My dad was a Marine. He actually killed 2 of his other Marines when they were on patrol one time, ironically because they were getting high.
What?
He actually got cleared of it, but he
killed them because they were getting high?
Yeah, they were supposedly on point, so they were taking the front of the patrol. This was in country in Vietnam, and they were walking totally stoned out of their gourd, not off of heroin, which is odd because that would have been the more common drug that they would have been on, not weed. But they were just stoned, had their rifles slung over their shoulders, and they started taking fire. And my dad said that he turned and fired on both of them.
Wow,
because
that's sick.
They weren't paying attention and they took fire. And it just becomes so easy because that's the culture, you know. Every single night when I was in boot camp, we would before you jump on your rack, I remember there was this saying, this chant that you would say. It was like something kill, and then you jump up on your rack and you get under your covers. And they drill this mentality that life has no meaning as long as they say it's okay. Which is ironic considering there was the article, or not the article, but some Facebook post written by a military individual talking about the rules of engagement, and you couldn't fire on people until they fired back at you. But, you know, the U.S. police force have none of that. They're not held to the same standards of rules of engagement. So, I mean, what does that say about them?
Well, of course, a lot of the cops come from the military.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like, oh, the shackles are off now. It's so this movie do you know where it's available?
It said in the article iTunes has it.
iTunes?
Yeah, it's called Combat Obscura. And again, I haven't seen the film, so
is that like I wonder if that kill is like from
some popular culture thing?
Yeah, well, again, from Full Metal Jacket. What do we do for a living, ladies? Kill, kill, kill. What makes the grass grow? Blood, blood, blood.
This was like the chant as they were working out or whatever,
from
marching.
Full Metal Jacket.
Hey, thanks for the call and sharing those stories, Phoenix. Disturbing. 60 to 70% of the people he was in the military with very excited to commit murder legally. Thanks for the call, and your calls and thoughts welcome. Here, our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Hour number 3 is coming up. This is Free Talk Live. We'll talk about grave robbing.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,305, silver at $15.29, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,225. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, just hours after President Trump formally designated Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps as a terrorist organization, Iran's foreign ministry has put forward a bill placing U.S. Central Command on a list of organizations designated as terrorists. Activist Post reports the Iranian foreign ministry responded to the designation Monday, recommending that President Hassan Rouhani designate U.S. Central Command, a U.S. military theater-level command whose area of responsibility includes the Middle East, on the list of organizations designated as terrorists by Iran. Previously, the Iranian foreign minister noted that those U.S. officials who advocated IRGC blacklisting seek to drag the U.S. into a quagmire. Iranian officials previously warned that the IRGC's inclusion on the U.S. terror list would be a mistake, which would prompt Iran to equate the U.S. military with Daesh or ISIS. A bill introduced in the Texas Senate would prohibit vaccines from being administered unless certain safety criteria are met. The Free Thought Project reports passage of the bill would significantly strengthen vaccine safety testing requirements and push back against any future federal vaccine mandates. Republican Senator Bob Hall introduced the Senate bill March 8th. The legislation would only permit a healthcare provider to administer a vaccine if certain criteria are met. After recent comments by former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb in February of 2019, just prior to his resignation, some believe that federal vaccine mandates are imminent. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% on your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. The Arab League on Monday called for a decisive international response to the recent statements made by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on annexing the occupied Palestinian West Bank. The anti-media reports the League's Assistant Secretary General of the occupied Palestinian and Arab lands said Netanyahu's remarks would lead to dangerous repercussions, adding that the international response must be derived from international law. Abu Ali urged the international community to immediately announce its stance on the Israeli remarks. He also demanded the International Criminal Court open an immediate official investigation into what he described as the ongoing settlement crimes in the Palestinian territories. On Saturday, Netanyahu told the Israeli Channel 12 that he would annex Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank if he wins another term in office, a move that had enraged the Arab and international governments. A former officer with the LAPD pleaded guilty Friday to raping a 13-year-old girl. The girl was the daughter of his good friend, a fellow cop. The Free Thought Project reports 52-year-old Kenneth Collard pleaded guilty to 2 counts of a lewd act upon a child in the April 4, 2018 attack, during which he was still employed as a police officer. He is expected to be sentenced to 5 years behind bars. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Last night's Victoria's Secret fashion show was a true ratings winner, particularly with men who don't know that actual pornography exists. The angels' feather costumes and silk nightgowns were a hit with 30 to 35-year-old male viewers who had no idea that nude images of all the models are easily accessible on the internet. And the show did equally well with 10 to 12-and-a-half-year-old boys who are going to have their minds blown when they finally get around their parents' internet blockers. CBS executives are touting the broadcast as breakthrough programming for people who are excited by the tops of boobs. Producer Dave Mitchell told Variety, quote, "The $2.5 million fantasy bra is a big draw with women who shop at Victoria's Secret, and an even bigger draw with men who've never seen or heard about sex before." The runway show drew expected outrage from the Christian Family Research Council. Executive Director Kathy Rouse charged that the event degrades women by objectifying them, most likely because she's never seen a Ukrainian prostitute receive a bukkake shower from a gang of cracked-out Albanian teens.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And in the studio here tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
Discord's been hot and hopping tonight. There's always folks hanging out in there. Of course, it's the best way to call in because you sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And I do want to also say thanks to our viewers on Twitch tonight. We what is an unusual number for just a weeknight show on Twitch, for Free Talk Live at least. 36 viewers, 37 just a few moments ago. I know, like, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, and it really ultimately isn't in the scheme of things on Twitch. I mean, we're talking about a platform where some people literally have thousands and thousands of simultaneous viewers. With millions of subscribers. You know, we're getting close to 800 followers on our Twitch channel, and I'm very happy about that. I'm grateful for everybody that follows us on that platform, because the more people that watch us on Twitch, the more people can find us on Twitch, because the higher our view count, the more we're going to move up kind of the Twitch talk show charts up there. So
I know you've stayed in the talk shows and podcasts category, but you have occasionally done, an after show. And I'm wondering, when you've done after shows, have you stayed in the talk shows and podcasts category?
We have.
So what would be interesting, I would like to see this as an experiment sometime. Okay. The next time you do an after show, and I know that you're much more interactive with the audience when you do the after show, right?
We try.
Like, you can try and be more interactive.
Yeah. Because then they're our only audience, unlike the radio show where we've got a bunch of platforms.
Change your category to just chatting and see what happens.
Oh. Okay.
I think you will see a dramatic shift.
Interesting.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, well, that's worth a shot. I didn't even know that. You know, you're right. I have seen people using that, and I didn't even cross my mind that we should try that.
Because then you would have, like a totally different interaction instead of it. Because people expect with a radio show that it's
one way
broadcast.
Yeah.
With just chatting, it's a streamer that they can be interactive with, and you might attract a whole lot of, a different audience. Of course, it might just attract a flood of trolls.
That's okay. But, that's where we're equipped to handle that. And if we're doing a Twitch only show like the after show, then the trolls are. I mean, look, you can say the F word there. It's fine. Right. Like, every time they call in to this show during the radio version, I always have to give them the talking to of, hey, you're calling a radio show. I think honestly some of them don't even know that.
Right.
I think some of them are just so oblivious to what's going on they don't even have any idea that we're actually a radio show. And so it's important to remind our younger viewers that we are on broadcast radio, and that means that you can't say certain things. And if you do say those things, we feel a little bad inside after we hit the dump button and prevent you from making it on the air. Yeah, that pesky FCC. So the after shows tend to be on our Friday night show after that, but it doesn't have to be that way. We could do a Tuesday or Thursday or whatever after show. So if that's something you're interested in, Johnson, we can talk about it. So anyway, toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. Let's go to the phones and your calls and thoughts. We go to that Discord call-in line where CJ is on the line calling from New York. Hello, CJ. Oh, I don't know what that was, but it was pretty uncomfortable. So I'm just going to hit the dump button anyway, just because I don't want somebody to have to hear that. No, I heard that there was a name for that, Johnson, where basically, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what it was, but there's a term for just blasting out somebody's eardrums with basically
no idea.
You talk like normal.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you crank up your gain is what he did, right? Because
Right.
when I screened his call, sounded normal, said he wanted to talk about civil rights. I gave him the talking to about, hey, you can't say bad words. I don't even know what he was saying there. He was so so distorted, it was impossible to make it out. There's like a term, there's like an Urban Dictionary kind of term for that. I'm sure they're going to shout it out in the chat room here in just a moment. Anyway, toll-free number 855-450-FREE. As we continue here, we will take your calls and thoughts. Let's go to Ron, listening in Pennsylvania via the TuneIn app. Go ahead, Ron. Hello? Ron in Pennsylvania, going once. Ron in Pennsylvania, going twice. I'm going to put Ron back on hold. Maybe he's having some cell phone or technical difficulties. Meanwhile, we go to Tom, calling us from Detroit. Tom, do we have you?
Yes, sir, you do.
Excellent. You're on the air.
Awesome. It's been quite a while since I've spoken with you folks. You may remember me or not. Doesn't matter.
Hold on, I got the term here. Wesley the G in the Discord chat says it's called ear rape.
No,
apparently.
There you go.
So yeah, that's what we were just. That's what they tried to do, but luckily I hit it before I think it made it out to the radio audience, so you didn't have to hear that.
Headphones are leveled anyway, so
yeah, we're okay. Let's go on here. Sorry, Tom. Go ahead with your thoughts.
All right. Well, Mark Stevens, his podcast or his show is on LRN.FM every Saturday.
That's right. Mark Stevens has a show called The No State Project.
Exactly. And it is very important to me. I've been following him for, many, many years now, 7, 8 years, maybe 9 years. And I'm just kind of wondering what you think of that effort.
Of Mark's efforts? You mean like writing books and doing a radio show?
No, of his battling the state the way he does. And I know you have, again, one of my favorite videos. The irony of this is one of my favorite videos is your major failure when you were challenging the situation. You understand what I'm saying? And
which failure? What situation? I'm sorry.
Well, the one that Mark helped you on when he appeared as your, I don't know what you want to call it.
You're talking about the DMV. You're talking about the DMV in New Hampshire. There was an administrative hearing, and Mark was kind of my representation in that. He ended up getting disconnected by the administrator because the administrator was so upset that he just literally pulled the plug on Mark Stevens in that instance.
Right on. So I'm wondering now, after all these years, what is your how do I want to ask this question? Do you still believe that Mark has any credit in this attack, or not attack, but trying to help us against the government attack? What is your thought on Mark Stevens?
Oh, I mean, I like Mark. I still feel the same way I've always felt about him, and that is that he's a brilliant guy who wrote a great book called Adventures in Legal Land. And, if you've read the book, and most of our listeners have not, but basically what he does in the book is he shows you different ways to essentially show the gun in the room, to show the madness and the violence of the government's court system. And one of the things he points out is it's either going to put you into a jail cell or it's going to keep you out of it. I mean, he's very honest with his approach that it's not a guarantee of any kind of success, that you're not going to guarantee to, make the judge drop the case. That could happen, but you might also upset the judge enough to hit you with a contempt charge because they're so mad about the things that you've said in the courtroom. He has a series of questions that sort of, when answered if it's answered in the way that it could be answered, which it may or may not be, but these questions basically back judges and witnesses into some very uncomfortable corners. And when you back bureaucrats into uncomfortable corners, sometimes they lash out with violence against you. So, Mark Stevens has never been, I don't think, dishonest about your chances of implementing these ideas. I mean, he himself was on the line with that administrative bureaucrat in the DMV hearing, and he got disconnected. So, like, there was no amount of, Mark Stevensing that could have been done better. It was the real Mark Stevens there. And that's what one of the potentials is that the person you're talking to is going to flip their S and get really angry because Mark's showing the madness and the violence of the system. So I think that he does that well.
Well, wow, Ian. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that was the absolute brilliant explanation of Mark Stevens. I thank you.
Okay. Well,
wow.
Thanks for the call, Tom. I appreciate hearing from you. I mean, that's what he does. And he's not, he doesn't sugarcoat that in his book. That's why I like him, because he doesn't claim he's going to set you free from every ticket you've ever received, or, that he's got some sort of magic formula that works every single time. It doesn't.
Right.
He's just got tough questions these bureaucrats do not want to answer. And that puts them in some very uncomfortable spots. And they want to get out of those spots. And they'll do what they have to get out of it. 855, 450 free. More coming up. You can join us here. It's Free Talk Live.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true. And thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free. If you want, you can bring up anything that is on your mind. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You can join those, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us over at discord.lrn.fm. It's Ian and Johnson in the studio with you here tonight. Coming up, grave robbing. Yeah, it's a thing in Venezuela. And we'll tell you more about that coming up, but your calls and thoughts are welcome. So we go to the phones and to the fun, where we got Bobby. He's on the line in Florida to start things out here. Go ahead, Bobby.
What's up? I know we are on the censored version, and I thank you guys for reminding us sometimes that, we can't cuss and things like that. But I did want to bring up, on one side, that's not on the trolls, that go on the one thing. You know what I'm talking about.
You're clearly allowed to get really high and call in. So sorry, what were you trying to say about the trolls?
Okay, the troll raiders in Discord.
Yeah,
I went to the Bubba Army today. Remember
Bubba, as in Bubba the Love Sponge.
100%. He's number one during the day, in the morning. Well, during this morning.
He's number one on Twitch, on what, their talk shows category, you mean?
Correct.
Okay.
And, he gets number one page views and all that, which helps. But anyways, since, that's what I'm trying to help Free Talk Live to do. And last night, that show you guys did with Aria was just amazing. I know
you're talking about Aria Uncensored, just for our listeners that aren't familiar. It's Aria Uncensored. Aria DiMezzo, who is a sometime co-host on Free Talk Live. She may be on more often on Monday night soon. Also the host of Call to Freedom. Also a trans person. She decided she wanted to host a show with her shirt off on Twitch. Now, there's been some controversy about the Twitch. The Twitch nudity policy. I don't know, Johnson. You're also a Twitch streamer. Have you ever looked at their nudity policy before?
Not closely, but I just know it's very frowned upon. Obviously,
men can be topless.
What's that?
Men can be topless.
It's not clear.
Right.
It is not clear from their. Not at all.
Right.
I don't have it in front of me right now, but I've looked at it in the past, and I looked at it again recently as we were gearing up for Aria's show over the weekend, and it is not clear at all. The policy can be read in a couple of different ways, in my opinion. It can be read as a total prohibition on all nipples, both male and female, which, if you're going to do a prohibition against nipples, it makes sense to prohibit both types, because then you don't have to get into these weird issues of, well, is it a man, is it a female, and all these things. That's the safest road. But it's not clear that that's what the policy is. There's also language in there about how clothing that's appropriate for the activity going on. So if you're on a beach, it's okay to have a bathing suit on. But does that mean you can show your nipples if you're a man on a beach? I mean, so again, it's still not crystal clear. And what we do know is that Free Talk Live was able to have, during the summertime in 2018, which was our first summer on Twitch, I was topless on a number of occasions. And
I love that.
Conan was as well. We've had.
Did you now?
He's really into it. So Conan and I were topless on multiple occasions, and there were people in the Twitch chat telling us how it's breaking the rules. And last night there was some, one of these rules people who citing the code. He's putting in quotes from the Twitch community guidelines.
Terms of service.
He's claiming he's reporting the stream multiple times, and they didn't pull us.
Right.
And the video was on Aria the entire time, and she was topless the entire time. So I thought that was interesting that they didn't pull the stream down. Anyway, Bobby, what else did you have to say about Bubba's Army?
Oh, well, in the Discord chat, this bot's a little overbearing. I know it's not you and other guys, but Mr. Sniffer, other people, for saying woo and, just different things. And I know we had to implement that because of the raiders that would come into our Discord chat. I was there plenty of times.
I'm trying out new things here. I appreciate the call tonight, Bobby, and thank you for the feedback.
So are you using the Twitch.com automated...
Twitch.tv, you mean?
Twitch.tv, sorry. Twitch.tv. Are you using Twitch's automated moderation?
Honestly, I don't know about the Twitch chat. That's a good question. I'm not sure what moderation levels there are in there. I think I don't really have much going on in the Twitch chat.
Because there's Twitch moderation, which is like very aggressive, and then you can use your own bot.
Right.
So if you had your own bot, you could dial up the moderation a little bit better.
It's one of those things where if it becomes a problem, I'll probably do something about it. But the issue was with the Discord chat, Johnson. We had a couple weeks ago what is described as a professional troll, this guy on YouTube who's got 1 million subscribers, and basically he just essentially trolls people and gets paid to troll people.
Okay, yeah.
He sicked his people on us.
Oh, really?
And they came into the Discord server and flooded the crap out of the Discord server with just, Nazi stuff, image floods, just like literally dozens of people came in and just started flooding. It was crazy. So I found a bot that can sort of handle those sorts of things, and so it's in the Discord server right now. It's upsetting some of the regulars because some of the settings on the bot, and maybe I've cranked it up a little too high, but some of the settings prohibit people from like all caps, or prohibit people from repeating characters for a certain length. So I'm trying new things out. If you don't like it, well, thanks for the feedback. Maybe I'll change it. We'll see. So 855-450 free. Hey, let's talk about looting corpses. That's something we haven't really covered ever, I think, on maybe at some point, but
I feel like in all this time, I'm sure we've talked about looting a corpse or two at some point in the past. Maybe in reference to Egypt. Who knows?
If somebody's buried in a public cemetery, is that private property that's still on that person's body? Because libertarians are all about ownership and property.
That's really fun.
And if you're not on private property, if you're on a public... Because around here in New England, Johnson, we're up in here in New Hampshire, seems like every damn town's got its own town cemetery.
Well, then you'd have to make the argument if they're on... Then what if they're living and you're in a public... If you're in a... like if you're in court and you're on public property... Are you closed? They still belong to you because you're on public property.
Well,
because you're living.
I mean, at that point, you could say, "Hey, that's mine," right? Like, "Hey, you can make a claim," but these people are dead. Can you have property if you no longer live in order to claim said property? Well,
you still have a family that owns the estate, right? So, I guess it depends on what their wishes are.
I see what you're saying. Well. If it was that important, wouldn't they have put you on private property then?
And that's like legally, but I mean, that's how it would be probably resolved as well, right? Based on an estate.
I'm not arguing for the legalization of grave robbing here, but I do think it is an interesting question.
You're arguing for the decriminalization of
it? Well, in Venezuela, people are robbing graves because they want to eat. And I don't mean they're eating things they find in the graves. I mean they're pawning the things that they find in the graves because they are desperate for things like, the most basic food items over there. We'll share what's going on in Venezuela. Your calls and thoughts are also welcome. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to SaveItPurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial on in toll free and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
We're talking about grave robbery, because apparently it's now a thing in Venezuela.
There's a huge, there's a big game about grave robbing.
Is there?
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's starring Lara Croft.
Oh, Tomb Raider. I've never played it. Have you?
Yeah, actually,
you like
it? I have one of the more recent ones. I've played through. I've never completed it. I played through and just got bored, and played through and got bored. They're it kind of is good to start out with, and then it just, I don't know, it
just gets tiresome.
The plot,
repetitive.
The plots don't hold my attention. I don't know what it is. about them. They're pretty fun games, but it's just, I don't know why, but it just doesn't hold my attention long enough. The original one, I think, was the very original one with the worst graphics.
Was the best
one.
According to the story here at Breitbart.com, desperate Venezuelans, a BBC report revealed Sunday, have been targeting cemeteries for potential income, stealing everything from jewelry to bones that they can sell for a profit. The BBC spoke to relatives of those buried in the Cementerio del Sur, the largest burial ground in the capital of Caracas, who now need to stand guard at their loved ones' tombs to protect them from looters. I come here every week, or every 2 weeks. I keep watch. I worry I'll arrive one day and she'll be gone. Eladio Bastido, whose wife is buried in the cemetery, told the BBC, quote, "When I buried her, you could just walk in here. But lately you can barely reach her grave because every tomb has been opened and the remains taken out."
Wow.
Every tomb. Looters prioritize
What are they
finding...
doing with the remains? I understand taking jewelry and all this stuff, but what are they doing with the remains?
I don't know.
Jerky? Like, what's going on there?
They prioritize finding jewelry, gold teeth. I imagine sometimes they just leave the body behind. I mean, that's probably mostly what's going on. Let somebody else put it back in. Finding jewelry, gold teeth, and skeleton remains that could be sold for use in various rituals. Oh, okay, so they do want the bones. The report alleged.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yep. The damage is so widespread, cemetery workers often cannot even repair the graves. Because if they're gravestones, they've got to bash through them, right? Like they've got to do things to these things to move them, destroy them to get through and get to the corpse. Thieves have broken in, and not just the graves of common people, but those of historical figures, such as novelist and former Venezuelan president Romulo Gallegos. This is lawless land. There is no respect for anything here, added Bastida. God will punish those people that are doing this. Another bereaved individual, Jorge Lescano, told the BBC he plans to exhume his relatives' remains for fear the thieves will soon dig up the grave when he's not there to protect it.
I mean, they aren't. This is in Venezuela, right? Why don't they just make a law?
Oh, that'll solve everything.
Yeah, right? That's what they do over there. They've got all these, magical laws.
Plenty of laws.
They made a law about the economy, right? And that just does all the wonders of bringing in all the money.
This is the result of social collapse, a lack of education, the loss of values in our homes and our institutions, Lescano said. He said further, in recent years, this country has only focused on politics. We have forgotten about the things that make us human. Well, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. The country has focused on politics. I'm pretty sure from what we've read, at least, a lot of people are focusing on where their next meal's going to come from. I think that if you are busy trying to feed your family because, you basically make a pittance, and the value of whatever little bit of money that you have is being frittered away by these government bureaucrats who constantly are running the printing presses and hyperinflating the money supply, which destroys the value of the currency. I think people have a little more on their minds than politics.
There's other Venezuelan news today. This is kind of interesting. Apparently, Maduro's administration, they've removed 8 tons of gold from the central bank.
Who's they? The government?
Yeah, the Venezuelan government has removed 8 tons of gold from the central bank's vaults. Apparently, they did it last week, and the story is being published today. The cash-strapped socialist state is expected to sell the bullion abroad as it seeks to raise hard currency in the face of U.S. sanctions.
As it seeks to raise hard currency?
Yeah, hard currency in the face of U.S. sanctions, a lawmaker and one government source said.
What they mean by hard currency is government money, right? Because gold is hard currency.
Right.
Government money is not so much. Venezuela's dire humanitarian crisis has intensified in recent weeks amid a breakdown of national electrical grid that has left many people paralyzed without access to basic living necessities and essential public services such as schools and hospitals.
I like how there are some people that are like so ridiculously brainwashed. They're like, the United States is doing this to Venezuela with their sanctions. It's the United States' interference that's causing Venezuela to be this way, not socialism. It has nothing to do with how they're handling their economy.
Well, the U.S. doesn't help.
Okay.
Well, okay, but to be clear, the U.S. government doesn't help with the sanctions, right? Like that does make things worse for the people there. But that's not the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what? No other countries in the world can exist independent of the United States. I mean,
Well, this is the classic excuse of the tyrant, right? So at least as far as the U.S. since the U.S. has been around, the North Korean government has for years been making these claims about the United States causing all kinds of problems within the country. The power outages in North Korea were blamed on the United States, not because the communists can't run a damn power generation plant. Right? Not because of the failure. It's not because of the failure of central planning or the failure of socialism or communism. It's because the U.S. government is sabotaging their power system. That's the claim from North Korea, and it's the same claim Maduro's been making about the power system in Venezuela. Same claim, and I don't buy it.
Right.
I don't buy it for a moment.
What are we supposedly doing? Hacking it?
Yeah.
Attacking it
that was
with
the
physical
claim.
attacks? I mean,
that was the claim, that it was like a cyber attack against their system. Right. When the reality, I don't know, I don't think you were on the nights we talked about that, but maybe you were. Anyway, the reality of it is a guy who was there was blogging about the dismal, actually was tweeting about the dismal shape of the power system there in Venezuela. Gave some examples of that. For instance, like, you know, those high tension wires that they have with the the big old stands that the wires are on, the pylons or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not cutting any of the trees or the brush underneath those things.
Right, of course, because no one that can do the work.
Well, they could do the work, but they don't have, the money to pay them.
They're not going to get paid, so why would they do that if they're not going to?
They're not motivated. They're not spending
feed
the
their
money.
families. They need to be spending time doing other things to.
Right. So they're not hiring the professionals that they need to keep the system up to to spec. It's just a mismanagement. It's constant mismanagement because, again, it's a monopoly. It's a government monopoly, so they don't really care. All of a sudden they cared when the power went out, and even the people who run the power systems' families were out of power. So then all of a sudden they hopped to it and tried to get things fixed. But even then it took several days for them to even restore partial service in Venezuela. Luckily, it wasn't freezing cold in that place, because then you got people dying because they're freezing to death. Venezuela, again, has been getting worse over time, the electrical grid thing. The task of managing the remains of the deceased has long been an issue in the crisis-stricken country. Reports from local morgues last year revealed exploding corpses due to a lack of effective refrigeration.
Yeah, because the bacteria will basically build up in their gut and.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? Can you imagine the smell?
Yeah.
Your job is to look. Can you imagine working in a morgue where they don't have effective refrigeration?
Yeah. That's why they bury them 6 feet under.
Most corpses placed in morgues quickly enter what is known as the emphysematous phase of decomposition, where they can no longer contain the gases and putrid fluids accumulated inside and burst as a result. Many morgues are also struggling to handle the sheer number of arriving dead bodies, many of whom have died as a result of violence or lack of basic medical care.
Milkshake brings all that.
Good luck getting any kind of antibacterial medicines in Venezuela.
God.
You get an infection, you might die.
Yeah.
More coming up here in moments. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can share your thoughts with us on whatever's on your mind. This is Free Talk Live.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to is probably so swamped with applicants that he or she is tough to reach. So call early in the day, before 8 a.m., before the palace guards arrive. You'll need your prospect's direct number, and here's a sneaky way to get it. Suppose the company's main number is 555-5000. You should call 555-5012. When someone says, "Good morning, Pam Johnson," you should innocently say, "Oops, somebody here must have written this down wrong. I was calling for Tom Frederick. What's his direct number?" If the very next thing you hear isn't Pam giving you Tom's number, it may be, "Good morning, Tom Frederick." For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You're listening to the best Liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You can join us however you want. If you're on Discord, though, you're going to sound way better than the telephone. With you tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
Don't forget to check out Johnson's website where he sells the official Free Talk Live merch, like Free Talk Live hoodies, Free Talk Live t-shirts.
I'm wearing a Liberty Minded shirt
tonight. And other shirts that don't have anything to do with Free Talk Live, but are very Liberty friendly. You have a Block the Vote shirt on right now.
Yeah, I chose poorly. I need to remove this colorway because the red does not go well on brown. I kind of knew that. You can tell from the preview image that it's not exactly the most.
It doesn't pop.
The check mark doesn't pop very well.
Right.
But I just wanted a brown shirt. But yeah, I've got a few others. I'm looking at. I still haven't ordered, and it's springtime now. So now that it's t-shirt season, I'm going to order some more of my own product. But my Republicrats and Demopublicans shirt I designed basically to look for the baseball season. Kind of based on like a baseball
like
looking
a team
logo. Like a team shirt. I'm looking forward to that one because it says basically on the back, it's like if you're treating voting like a team sport, you need to stop playing.
So there's some brilliant shirts on there, and you can pay for them with cryptocurrency. Do you also accept credit cards and PayPal?
Yeah, I do have a PayPal option, but
For now.
I also accept a very wide range of cryptos.
Lots of them, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I've got in order. I mean, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Horizon, Zcash, Bitcoin, Litecoin.
Is this order of popularity?
Dogecoin. I think I assigned an order which I was like interested in them.
I see.
Made Safe Coin, Monero,
I didn't even know
Ripple.
that was a thing.
I mean, it's also there's things that like some of them I haven't gotten. Like I'm interested to get Ripple, and nobody's ever given me any Ripple.
Liberty
or
Minded,
Monero.
if you want to do it for him, get over there and check out some of the cool shirts, because it's really about the shirts over at libertyminded.com. Check that out. Let's go to Scriv on the line in the East Coast, listening on Twitch. Go ahead, Scriv.
Hi, I just kind of wanted to speak to what sounded more like almost a dismissal of the concept of American imperialism.
What?
When referring to North Korea and Venezuela, it seemed a little dismissive. I mean, now I realize, so when we sanction someone or when we pull aid...
You mean when the government sanctions people? Because I haven't sanctioned anyone.
Yeah, not we the people, right? Not myself or you either, obviously. I hope so. But, like, it seemed like you were saying that's almost as if it's not like a hostile action, although...
No, I didn't say that at all. I said we're completely against sanctions, that sanctions hurt the people of a country. They don't hurt the government, they hurt the people there. But what we were saying is that the failure of North Korea and the failure of Venezuela doesn't have that much to do with the sanctions. It has a whole lot more to do with the economic policies and government's laws within that one political jurisdiction. Specifically, Venezuela is what we've been talking about tonight. So we're completely against it. Just to clarify, we're completely against imperialism here on Free Talk Live.
I mean, if I were to tell you right now,
recognize that. That's good.
If I were to tell you right now, I'm not going to do any business with you ever, right? I'm saying I'm putting a sanction on you, right? We've never, first of all, you and I have never done business, right? It would still be considered a hostile act, right? I'd be being kind of a jerk by saying something like that.
Right,
but
right.
it's not the end of your world, right? Because, like even if I were if I were, say, a big business, like let's say I'm Walmart and I'm saying I'm not going to do any business with you. You're banned from all our stores. It's still not the end of your existence. And this is true of countries too,
Intent
right?
has a lot to do with it.
What?
Intent has a lot to do with it, though. Like the intentions and what go along with those things. And so we in America kind of take democracy for granted. Like we're born with it. It's kind of like a gift to us given, right?
Democracy sucks. That's a crappy gift.
Yeah.
Well, it comes at a price to other people across seas. It comes at bloodshed, and it's not necessarily such a pretty thing.
Why would there be? Why does there have to be a price on democracy? It's
Right.
just a voting system.
Right. And we go other places and tell them.
You mean
how
the
to
U.S.
set those
government?
things up.
What you mean is the U.S. government invades other plots of land and kills innocent people because democracy.
You're very devoted to this concept.
That's at least what they say, right? That they're spreading democracy through violence.
Under the guise of, yes.
Yeah.
Under the guise of, yes. Under the threat of democracy, supposedly.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't say that that's in any
I'm
way
glad
a
to hear
gift.
you say all this stuff, though. I'm really glad to hear you say that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you must be new to the show. Is this your first time listening?
Yeah, I was just trying to clarify a few of those things.
Yeah, no. Not only are we against sanctions, and are we against these governments forcing their will on other people around the world, but also we're against the governments forcing their will and people forcing their will on others, even here in the whatever local area you happen to live. But we focus on different examples of how awful the state is in different parts of the world, and right now the Venezuelan state is one of the worst on the planet. So it's worth looking at, and it's worth analyzing.
It's failing, and it's failing, and they kind of recognize that, but they just want it to fail without us. I just kind of wanted to say the one thing I really do take exception to is when you make an example like North Korea or Venezuela, and then apply that or point that to be exemplary or really wonderful You know,
they're not wonderful. They're horrifying places to live where people have.
Is it really the apex of socialism? Is it really like the summit of communism that has really failed the North Korean people, or is it because there are?
It's just the next version of it. It's just the next failure. There's been plenty of communist failures over many, many decades. So this is just the current one that is in the process of eating its own.
There are countries
right.
about
I believe
what happens
it was
when
like a famous man did once say, what was it? Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the other ones.
I don't think that's true.
Like that.
I mean, there's a strong argument that, well, first of all, I'm in favor of no governments because I don't believe in coercing my neighbors, and that's what governments do. Is they're people who use violence or the threat of violence on their neighbors, and I think that's sick, and we need to get past it. But arguably, you could argue that a beneficent dictator or a king that is free market oriented or something like that could be a lot better than a democracy. A hands-off king would be a lot better than the majority rule, because democracy is really just two wolves and a sheep deciding on dinner. That's not fair to the sheep, is it?
I don't know. I want to address the question about whether or not they're the apex of socialism. I think that all they are is what happens when socialism is allowed to run roughshod over the economy in those countries.
Which is what socialism proposes to do.
It's an eventuality, generally. I mean, it will weaken an economy.
The definition is merely regulation of the means of production.
Right.
Control
which I believe
of the
is
means
what
of
a government
production.
is supposed to do. I don't know if it says
Socialism wants to put the control of the means of production into the hands of the state. And the communists ultimately want that to go into the hands of the people.
Not necessarily. I think you're confusing it with communism. If you look it up, it's actually regulation of is also included.
It's the same thing, dude. Regulation, control, regulation. What you've seen happening in socialist nations like Venezuela is basically the seizure of private companies and turning them over to the government. And then, of course, the government runs them into the ground because they don't know what they're doing. They are not subject to market signals like the rest of us are in the marketplace, where we have to listen to our customers or will fail. And socialism fails every time because central control fails.
What you're saying, I know what you're saying, but I don't know if it's a fact. You know what I mean? Because I don't know any Venezuelans. I haven't been to Venezuela to talk to any of those people. All I know are like talking points from.
Well, no. It's fine if you've never been to Venezuela. I've never been to Venezuela either. But there's no debating that central command and control fails. If you put a business in the hands of the government, it's going to fail because government is not subject to the same signals in the marketplace that the rest of us are. When government fails, they just go back and they ask for more money. They demand more money from the taxpayers. The budget increases of whatever the government program is. In business, if you fail, you go out of business.
That's the same thing that a business does.
Huh?
Well, yeah, you go out of business.
Yeah, you go out of business.
Well, that's the same thing, right?
No, it is not the same thing. It's not the same thing because businesses don't have. Sorry, we're almost out of time, but feel free to call back any other night, Scriv. But it's not the same thing because businesses don't use coercion to get customers, unless, of course, they team up with the government.
I mean, the example that I wanted to bring up is a lot of these, people bring up like countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark as those are like the
they're not
Nordic
real socialist
countries,
yeah.
And it's like, no, they're not, especially not economically.
Yeah. So we're out of time. Scrib, call another night, call earlier, and we can get deeper in here. We'll see you tomorrow. Online in the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Are you Free Talk Live?
The way I do psychic readings is a little bit different. I read the veins of your penis, and I could tell your future.
That is a new one.
Is this a hands-on procedure?
Yeah. Well,
does it come with a happy ending?
No, I'm a businessman. I'm very professional. I'll tell you why I think he arrested me. I told him, I said, I can see right here that your life's going to be very short. He got upset and arrested me.
So he thought that you were making a comment about his size.
Yeah, the size of his. Yeah. Look here, I'm only interested in the veins, and I'm very professional.
Now, where did you learn this technique?
At my dad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative.
Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,305. Silver at $15.29, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,225. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news. Just hours after President Trump formally designated Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps as a terrorist organization, Iran's foreign ministry has put forward a bill placing U.S. Central Command on a list of organizations designated as terrorists. Activist Post reports the Iranian foreign ministry responded to the designation Monday, recommending that President Hassan Rouhani designate U.S. Central Command, a U.S. military theater-level command whose area of responsibility includes the Middle East, on the list of organizations designated as terrorists by Iran. Previously, the Iranian foreign minister noted that those U.S. officials who advocated IRGC blacklisting seek to drag the U.S. into a quagmire. Iranian officials previously warned that the IRGC's inclusion on the U.S. terror list would be a mistake, which would prompt Tehran to acquaint the U.S. military with Daesh or ISIS. A bill introduced in the Texas Senate would prohibit vaccines from being administered unless certain safety criteria are met. The Free Thought Project reports passage of the bill would significantly strengthen vaccine safety testing requirements and push back against any future federal vaccine mandates. Republican Senator Bob Hall introduced the Senate bill March 8th. The legislation would only permit a healthcare provider to administer a vaccine if certain criteria are met. After recent comments by former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb in February of 2019, just prior to his resignation, some believe that federal vaccine mandates are imminent. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% on your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. The Arab League on Monday called for a decisive international response to the recent statements made by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on annexing the occupied Palestinian West Bank. The anti-media reports the League's Assistant Secretary General of the occupied Palestinian and Arab lands said Netanyahu's remarks would lead to dangerous repercussions, adding that the international response must be derived from international law. Abu Ali urged the international community to immediately announce its stance on the Israeli remarks. He also demanded the International Criminal Court open an immediate official investigation into what he described as the ongoing settlement crimes in the Palestinian territories. On Saturday, Netanyahu told the Israeli Channel 12 that he would annex Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank if he wins another term in office, a move that had enraged the Arab and international governments. A former officer with the LAPD pleaded guilty Friday to raping a 13-year-old girl. The girl was the daughter of his good friend, a fellow cop. The Free Thought Project reports 52-year-old Kenneth Collard pleaded guilty to 2 counts of a lewd act upon a child in the April 4, 2018 attack, during which he was still employed as a police officer. He is expected to be sentenced to 5 years behind bars. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
In Baltimore, the streets have gotten safer thanks to the success of the new Permanent Daylight Initiative, which aims to prevent crime by illuminating the entire city 24 hours a day using high-powered floodlights.
It's just that it's so bright all the time, even in the rain.
City officials say there have been 0 violent crimes since the start of the program, except for one man who vandalized the light by throwing his body off a building into it. Now let's set our crosshairs on to Mountain View, California, where Gmail servers were down for nearly 2 hours today. In an online statement, the company said, "Tremble before Google. With the mere flip of a switch, we can bring you to your knees." After reestablishing service this afternoon, Google changed its logo and released a statement saying, if not appeased with a 20% increase in Google Chrome downloads by the next vernal equinox, they will take back their generous gift unto mankind of colored conversation labeling. All right, you can take off your helmet. You have survived the News Blitz.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah. Unafeared here and declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedom's with an Ass, FreedomsPhoenix.com. Okay, we got a really good day today, man, as always. In the second and third hour, we're going to have Larkin Rose in studio. We're going to get the Yakify on a lot of things, and he has a new book that's come out. Parasites on Parade with Larkin Rose. That will be of interest to many, I am sure. So we'll go ahead and look forward to that. In the first hour, a recommendation from Tim Picciott that happens to be at the Security Token Summit. He's been texting me some information there, and of course it's every other word. The SEC, they've been doing a hell of a job. They're great people, my best friends. SEC. Security Exchange Commission. We're going to hear all about that Friday when he comes back and tells us what's up. And T-Zero's been doing has a big presence there, and I'm very interested in that. And Patrick Byrne's a good guest of the show, and it's time to get him on again. We'll see what's up. We've been covering him since 09, 10. This has been a revelation. Coming into, I don't even like to use the word economics anymore. I mean, it's just, it's like home budget kind of thing is what it means. And who's home? I like Catalactics. where it's like, you know what something's worth? It's what somebody will pay for it. That's what it is. You know, it's the idea that you look at what individuals spend and why. You know, it's down to an individual thing. It's not this, you know, this collective. They keep trying to collectivize everything all the time. And, you know, Tim recommended we talk to John Williams. And he has a website, shadowstats.com. Now, John's been around. Walter J. Williams, John, has been around. He was born in 1949. He got his MBA from Dartmouth back when it mattered. And now he's had a lot of exposure on the media and lots of different things. Worked for commercial airline, getting their passenger mile thing set up and fixed and making sure you know what you're doing with your money. But it's all about the government reporting. Government reports, I've heard this so many times. My brother-in-law is a VP over at Moody's in Washington. I mean, you know, and it's just, I'm like, how do you know? Well, you know, there's this report and the government died. I go, well, there's your first problem right there. You know, who cares? Who believes anything that they're... Well, you know, John Williams started Shadow Stats for that very reason. Welcome to the show, John.
No, thank you, Ernie. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this because this is just an old guard guy gets around and says, you know, I've seen this before. I know exactly what happens. They change this number. They, you know, cost of living adjustment, and they'll just change the, you know, the consumer inflation index, or they'll do something to get what they want. And damn, somebody's got to have a number that means something. How far off am I?
Well, you hit the nail squarely on the head there. The inflation is probably the most significant series that they've played around with. If you go back in time, people have put together consumer price indices over literally centuries here. It's important for people to have a sense of what's happening with prices because if you want to maintain a constant standard of living or improve upon it, you need to